What's up, guys? This is the BLATANT team. I'm Joshua. I'm the editor, producer, director. This is Miguel. He's our host. This is Ridhym. He makes all of our thumbnails, and he's also one of the hosts. And this is Daniel.
YouTube shorts too.
Oh yeah, he makes all of our YouTube shorts, all of our social media videos. He's the guy. This is Daniel. He has no clue what he's throwing up right now.
Just ignore him.
Just ignore him. He's kind of just here. But basically, guys, we just wanted to apologize about the video that recently came out. Or about this video that you guys are watching right now, because we feel that it didn't quite envision what we pictured for the video. It was honestly my fault, because I was operating equipment that I knew that I wasn't capable of operating. There's so many excuses that I could pull, but in all honesty, it was just that I had a lack of awareness of the situation.
Humble king.
And I think that what we're planning on doing is just to keep you guys in the light about what's happening with the channel. Is we're gonna post this video. Just keep in mind that it's not gonna be the highest quality video, but what we're planning on doing is transitioning over to streaming platforms. And we feel like if you guys listen to just the audio, it's gonna be a lot more easily digestible. It's gonna be a lot more easy to follow what's happening. Once again, from the BLATANT team, we just all wanted to apologize sincerely. And also, if you guys notice, Alex hasn't been in the more recent podcast. He just recently went off to college. But yeah, guys, enjoy the video.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the BLATANT podcast. And today we have a very special guest with us,
Noah Jaghori.
and then to his left we have
Daniel the Great.
and then you have your host, Miguel, the FGL again. All right, so Noah, how you been, bro? Everything all right with you?
I'm tired, bro. I'm tired, but yeah, everything's good. I've been flying all around a lot recently, but yeah, everything's good.
Okay. I really brought you here just want to get to know you more. Let the people obviously get to know you even more. And I just want to start off with, what age did you begin fighting? I know you're really young, 16 years old. So
Man, I started fighting when I was a kid. I remember my first class, it was a Muay Thai class. I was 3 years old. My grandmother took me. And I remember falling in love with it from the second I was born. So, you know, there's never like a moment in my mind where I want to be something else. You know, like some kids, they grow up, you know, they want to be astronauts, you know, they want to be doctors, you know. Ever since I started watching The Ultimate Fighter, when I was a kid, I think I saw an advertisement or something. I just fell in love with it, and I knew that no matter what life puts in my way, that's obviously what I'm going to do, and that belt is what I'm going to work for. So yeah, I started martial arts at a young age. I've trained a bunch of different disciplines, and now I'm just going back into it, and let's hope for the best.
Okay. And then what about any other stuff besides fighting? Because I've known you've done a lot of business adventures. I know that.
Yeah, man.
So could you list some of them off? Like, what have you done?
Yeah, man. When I was 13, I started a cryptocurrency startup called Jag Token, and I did it on a Sunday. Actually, just randomly came into my head, and it blew up. And I didn't really think that it would blow up, but kind of after that, you know, when you're at that age and you're talking to so many different people about business who are way older than you, you know, you kind of learn a lot. So I was kind of self-taught. My pops too is an entrepreneur after he left from the government, and I just kind of learned a lot from him. And even now, you know, when I go on meetings or stuff like that, you know, people say I don't sound 16. So
No, you don't.
You don't.
You do not know.
yeah, so I mean that's just kind of the thing. I saw that startup in the end of 2022. And it was to a private equity firm in Los Angeles, and man, it was amazing. But after that, you know, kind of just started getting more and more easy to, you know, just start something, build it up, culture it, and then sell it. And yeah, that's what I was doing for the side. It was a side hustle for a really long time. And I mean, I kind of just did that separate from fighting, but it's taught me a lot. You know, going into, you know, be able to see how many, you know, different kinds of people operate. You know, I mean. 1 second I'm sitting in a boardroom with a 60-year-old man, and then the next second I'm being chased by a 6'5" African trying to take my head off of the cage.
That's wild.
That's
wild.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, it teaches you a lot, you know, switching between kind of like roles like that, you know. But I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for everything that's done.
That's great. Because I know we do have like some businessmen in our presence too. Daniel, do you want to talk to them about your startup? at all?
Yeah, so I'm working on a startup called Color Cover. It's basically a drink cap that'll be offered at venues such as nightclubs and bars. That basically cover your drink, and it's thermochromic, which means if someone was to tamper it, the heat from their fingers will illuminate to know your drink has been touched and it's time to throw it out. So that's an idea I've had for about a year, but I was always super hesitant because, you know, I look at statistics and I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this because statistically I'm not going to succeed. But I mean, I just have to believe in myself and kind of believe in myself, even though I have no evidence of it, right? So I've been working on that for a while, and I made a lot of great connections. Connections are everything, and it's in the works.
Yeah, man, they don't lie when they say your net worth is your network. So I mean even myself, I've had a friend, fighter too, Muay Thai guy. He was in Ibiza actually, and he got poisoned because someone slipped something in his drink. So I mean that would work. That would work amazing. And you know, I just say go for it. I mean, the way I live my life is kind of, you know, I think about it's 20 years from now, 30 years from now, if I'm gonna regret, you know, not taking that opportunity, not taking that chance. You know, if you fail, you fail. And I mean, people, you know, they get comfortable with failure. You know, I mean, most fighters, you know, they get comfortable after a win, right? I mean, you know, they go out, they party, you know, that's never enough, you know, and then they get weak. And, you know, I would rather lose if I know that I'm going to get comfortable with a win. Because when you've lost, you know, you're striving, you know, you're hungry for more. But a win, a lot of guys, you know, whether it's in business, fighting, school, you know, they get too comfortable. So that's why, you know, I just kind of implement that mentality. You know, even after all my fights, all my ventures, you know, I don't go out, I don't party, you know, I've pretty much, you know, stopped going out entirely now. But, you know, there's just for me, you know, partying, drinking, smoking, it's all just weakness for the soul, you know, at the end of the day.
I agree.
Yeah, and I've just implemented that into my life, not just in fighting, but it's helped me a lot. And, you know, I say for you, man, I've seen plenty of cases, not just friends, but girls and stuff like that, even here in the United States where that's happened. So I just say go for it. I mean, it's a great idea. You have a prototype, you know, and you're definitely really driven to do it. Most guys, you know, they sit on their phones watching Instagram reels about how to get rich, but they don't actually get up and do something. You know, they think just sitting there looking, you know, just does something for them, but it really doesn't. So you have an idea, you know, how to execute it, and you know, you're very driven, you're very passionate about it, and you know, it's a pretty big problem, you know, and it's a safety. So safety sells, is what a lot of people will tell you, and
That's true.
I just say go for it because, you know, 50 years down the line when you see someone else has invented it and, you know, you're sitting there thinking what could have been, you're just going to be stuck for the regret for the rest of your life.
Exactly. You know, there's a lot of stuff that when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, oh, I regret trying that. You're going to regret, I should have tried that. And I kind of like having that mentality because you can start so many businesses and so many startups, and you can fail, you know, over and over. But all it takes is for one idea, once you conceptualize it and start making revenue and you're smart about it, and then you're good.
That's true.
But
What about you, Ridhym?
Nah, bro, it's a very good thing that like people like being like 90s, 20s, they be like, yo, we gotta stop drinking, we gotta focus on school, we gotta do something. But you're at like, such a young age, you already know like what to do in life. Well, that's actually very inspirational.
Man, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life too. I can't even lie to you. I've done a lot of things that I regret. But, you know, that's taught me, you know, and
We're going to get more into that later. What about you, Ridhym? Do you have any business start? I know you started a couple of businesses, right?
I mean, I did like on Amazon FBA, like for most likely for me, business like is like flipping stuff.
Yeah.
I'm into real estate a lot. So in future, like I'm just trying to like save my money right now because in future I'm gonna do like real estate. I love to do like flipping. For like right now, I'm like trying to do like buy some stuff, sell it on Amazon, on eBay. And I had some success, but like not like fully success because I give up too early.
Have you seen him doing this? Because
I have not.
never in my life.
No, I give up too early, but yeah, I understand what you say. Like, never give up because, in 50 years, in upcoming 50 years, you're gonna be like, I should have done that. Like,
so true, yeah. That's so true.
A hustle's a hustle. Don't ever let anyone tell you different. A hustle's a hustle. If you have something, if it's going well, stick to it. Don't ever tell you anything different. You know, I've been around a lot of different people in my life. You know, from pacifists, which is insane, coming from a mixed martial artist, to, you know, just people who are at their lowest, people who are at their highest, and everyone will tell you that a hustle is a hustle. And, you know, anything that can make you succeed in a way that you want to succeed is worth doing. So,
Yeah.
It's true.
Because
It's true.
success is not gonna come in a night or something. You gotta
No, it's
hustle,
not.
hustle,
It's not.
hustle.
It's not.
You're gonna
I
get it
mean,
one day.
it kind of worked pretty quick for you, but I know it's not like that for most
Yeah.
most
He
people.
worked hard for it, so
No, he did.
You know, there's this quote I know. It's I don't know who it's by, but it's something along the lines that the time will pass anyways. So like if you want to learn a language, like it's gonna take me like to speak it well, it's gonna take me like 2 years and stuff like that. 2 years is gonna pass, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well start now. Like when I want to start this business, like this is gonna take a long time, but 2 years is gonna go by, and I know I'm still gonna be alive then, so might as well.
That's so true. That's so true. All right, now that we talked about your background, let's try and get into like the fighting aspect of your life more. Ridhym, you have some questions
Yeah.
about that?
But I know you're coming back to UFC and making a big statement, a big return, right? So, but like, what happened? Like, any incidents, like any injuries or stuff?
Yeah, I told him about this the other day, man. That ACL tear, it really messed me up. So, after that, I just kind of went into depression. But, I had, really good trainers, really good people around me that pulled me out of it, and now I'm back. I'm getting back into fighting, and it just feels great, because I was at my lowest point, and I was able to come back up to my high. So it just kind of shows, kind of the perseverance that we're capable of as humans. And, I've worked for it. So,
Yeah.
I've worked, but I've jumped a few months, like 2 months ago. I kind of exasperated because I jumped off a cliff in Maui. Also, shout out to all my friends from Maui to Hawaii. And I jumped off a cliff. It's called Black Rock. It has the most tourist deaths in the entire island of Hawaii.
Damn.
And when I hit the water, I was kind of lopsided, and I had one leg straight and one leg bent, and I swam for a good 5 seconds. The entire left side of my body went numb, and I was about, I want to say 30, 40 feet out from the water, and then a riptide came and got me, straight riptide, and I was on one side, and I was lucky. There were scuba divers nearby, and they came. They put, how they have the little boards they use. They put that under me. I was pretty much gone. I already had a lot of water in my lungs and drowning and everything. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. I got rushed to the hospital there on the island, and they were telling my mom, who was with me at the time, that there's a big chance that it could be flown out on helicopter to the big island, Oahu, for back surgery, emergency back surgery. This was about a month ago, emergency back surgery. And they took me CAT scan, X-ray, MRI for hours, and I just couldn't move the entire left side of my body. And, afterwards, I got out of the MRI machine, and, I'm just sitting there, and I start being able to wriggle my toes again on my left side. And then an hour later or so, I'm able to balance myself on one foot. And, everyone in the hospital, doctors, surgeons, because, there's small hospitals in Hawaii, right? Pretty much everyone came out, and they were looking at me and, followed me into the MRI machine and everything. I mean, this is a staff of all medical. And, it wasn't because they knew who I was. It's more because, they were concerned, for my well-being. And afterwards, I was able to move again, and then I eventually got discharged. The head of the entire medical staff, the doctor, Japanese guy, really nice guy. He looks at me, he comes in, no one else is in the room, and he straight up tells me that everyone in this hospital thought that you were going to be paralyzed for the rest of your life in a wheelchair. Everyone in this hospital. And he told me he's seen people come in here, lose their lives, and he's seen people come here and go out in a wheelchair. So, that was kind of a wake-up call for me. And,
Everything is meant to be.
Everything's meant to be.
And you're still back at it.
And I'm still back at it.
Damn.
I'm back at it. Actually,
I'm back stronger, bro.
back strong. Yeah, another shout out. Great guy, Maui Jiu-Jitsu Academy. I was planning on going to train there for a longer time, and then I just completely messed up my left leg again. But I have pictures. I was in a neck brace for a while and everything. But yeah, it was insane, man. I wouldn't wish that on anyone because there's a good chance. I was literally thinking I came to that island with the purpose to continue my training, and I was so close to fully recovering, and then I jumped off that cliff into the water, and it set me back a few months. But I mean, I'd rather have that be the way it was. Otherwise, instead of me walking out of there on a wheelchair. So or rolling out of there on a wheelchair.
And also maybe if that didn't happen, you wouldn't be as as careful of your leg, and maybe something in the future happens again.
Yeah, man. I would never do that.
So it's great that you had a wake up call earlier rather than later when you're at like a fight, something.
So
Now,
true.
because I know that everyone struggles with injury in the thing. Like Josh, if you wanted to come and talk about your many injuries that you had, right?
I don't know. I've had a lot of broken bones.
Yeah.
Luckily, no like muscular injuries or like joint injuries really. But like I've broken 17 bones over the course of my life. I went to the doctor like sometime last November, right?
Yeah.
And when Ortho Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's they know me over there. Like I don't think it's really good to like
Great people
know.
over there. Great people over there. Shout out to
Oh
them.
no, 100%. They're the reason that like I'm still able to skateboard, play basketball, or anything.
I don't think it's good that they know you though.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean,
I'm a regular. Regular.
nah, bro, they know me there. But like, so I went there, and then I've broken my collarbone 6 times, and luckily I've never had to get surgery on it. But
How that's possible, man. Collarbone.
bro, I don't know.
Snaps are the worst.
But so every now and again I'll get like phantom pains, right? And then like it'll just be like I was in class, I literally just like and then all of a sudden it started stinging to the point where like I couldn't even like move my arm. So then I texted my parents like, hey guys, I'm gonna be home a bit late. I gotta run to the hospital real quick just to get like myself checked out. They took an x-ray of me. They're like, this side, I was like, it looked like it normally does for like 3 broken bones on this side. But like the doctor came out and he was like, does your collarbone usually look like this when you get x-rays? I was like, what do you mean? He showed me, and then this side it moves like a normal collarbone, right? It's still like lumpy and stuff.
Yeah.
But like on this side, it goes here and then it just goes straight down. And so like my shoulder is like double jointed and stuff now. I've gotten, I think the closest thing that I could compare to your accident was like sometime, it was March 6th, 2020.
Yeah.
I was skateboarding out with my friends. And I was really stupid. We were out skateboarding around our neighborhood the whole day.
Yeah.
And then there's this really steep hill that goes into my neighborhood. And I don't know why, maybe it was just like adrenaline or something. I was like, bro, I just want to bomb it. Like I didn't even say it to anyone. This was just in my head.
Yeah.
I just put my board down and started rolling down. I was going like 30 something miles an hour. Tried to turn into my neighborhood. And on top of that, I was dumb enough to try to run it off because I was getting really close to the curb.
Something
I
Ridhym would do
jumped
right there.
off, and then I tried to run. And then I have these like fat scars on my knees because I like tripped, fell, my knees like slammed against the curb. And then I broke my collarbone. That was the last collarbone injury I got, luckily. But then like I had a concussion so bad I didn't even my whole body hurt so bad that I didn't even notice the concussion symptoms until like 4 or 5 months afterwards.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you this. I've had
5 months.
Man, I've had 6 confirmed concussions, and I'm pretty sure I've had 3 that were unconfirmed. My first one wasn't even from fighting. I think I was about 7 years old, 6 years old, and I went to Six Flags with my uncle. And you guys know like how some of like the old rides, like they require you to strap in. So like I don't know if you guys remember, they used to have like wood planks for like the wooden rides coming down. So we're going under one at full speed. I take my seatbelt off. I stand up on one of those wooden frames.
Wait, what? Why?
I was 7 years old, right?
That's a bucket list item right there. That's a bucket list.
Impulse went crazy.
But I swear, I literally took my seatbelt off. I don't even know why my
truth is
uncle
that's
didn't do
one.
anything. I stood up and I banged my head going at full speed
Damn.
to the wooden plank. I was 6 years old, 7 years old. And I just remember I'm vomiting my, I don't know if I'm allowed, it's fine. I'm vomiting my
You
the
can
entire-
curse.
You can say
I
whatever
curse?
you want.
I can curse. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm vomiting my off the entire time coming off the ride. And then afterwards, I'm with my mom and my aunt. They're there too. And I just black out. And I wake up in a hospital bed. And the craziest part is, this is what I never wish on anyone who has this amount of concussions. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. Like I'm straight up. Like sometimes someone will say something to me from my childhood and I can't remember it. What happens is it comes in bits and pieces. So sometimes I just start dreaming it, and I'm dreaming like something random from my childhood. I'm like 5 years old. I just don't remember a lot of it. I think even now I probably can't remember anything since before I was 12, 13, and that's how bad it's weighed down on me. And On the topic of bone breaks too, I don't know if you guys have seen leg snaps in MMA or something like that, where they're I think
Conor
you've seen-
McGregor.
Conor McGregor, yeah, his leg. So what we do for that is we basically hit wood, knees, elbows, and shins, and what that happens, wood, steel, anything that's hard. And what happens is you have like these micro fractures that happens throughout the entire thing, and the bone, it comes back and it rebuilds as stronger. So, man, if you take an X-ray of my shin or my elbows right now, you'll see that they're, I think it was 2.7 times thicker than the average humans, and it's just like really weird, and it's just a weird shape and everything. And I remember, you know, one time I think I was like 8 years old, and you guys know how, you know, like the mailboxes, you know, there's like a steel pole, right? And I just remember kicking that and feeling something in my leg just snap. I was kicking it for a good, see, the thing is, I was kicking it for like a good 7-8 times, and then I lift up instead of tucking my knee in, and it just destroys my leg completely. And the funny part is I never got an X-ray, never went to a doctor for it or anything. But, you know when you can tell like something's at least fractured or broken? That's when I knew, even at that age. So that was probably one of my worst bone breaks. I haven't had a lot of bone snaps or breaks except for my fingers and my toes. But besides that, nothing like you or the collarbone. I had 6 collarbone breaks, and now I don't get it at all. Yeah.
Oh no, it's something else. I still gotta get my knee checked out because like, so like I told you, I got both scars on my knees. My right knee, it like the kneecap feels fine, but like this side is like normal on this side, but then over here there's just like chunks just like floating around.
Man, when I was I had so many weird injuries when I was a kid, and when I tell people about them, they expect it's from fighting. But I was I want to say now 8 years old again, and you guys know like those really like broken go karts like at Walmart for like $200,
Yeah.
but they ended up going like 25 miles an hour, right? So I'm strapped into the thing, right, going full speed at the cul-de-sac. I take one knee off. Remind you, this is the middle of the summer, hot fault, and I had shorts on. I put that knee on the ground, and it's full speed on the go-kart. Just the entire kneecap comes up. I was with everyone in my neighborhood, right? Didn't cry, did nothing. I swear to God, I walked in, and my mom was showing like some of the neighborhood girls like makeup or something, and I walk in, and there's blood gushing down my knee. You can see chunks of it. I'm not even flinching at this point or anything. And my mom and all of those neighborhood girls just started screaming at this entire thing taking off my leg. So if you look at my knee now, it's a little bit like weird, but the skin grew back. So it looks fine now. But,
How do your parents not hate you, bro?
Nah, I was about to say.
honestly, sometimes I think they do. But I mean, yeah, my pops gets it. My mom, she's a little bit iffy about some of the stuff I do, but my dad does get it because I mean he's gone through a lot of the same stuff I have. I mean, I can take this chance to talk about my grandfather. He was a prisoner of war in the Afghan and Soviet Union. The Soviets, I don't even know if the Russians are going to be at me for talking about this, but the Soviets actually waterboarded him the entire time. They had him chained up in like the small cell. He was telling a story, and for 23 days he was a prisoner of war until the Afghans negotiated his release. And both I know the stories of him. My dad, though, is a way more mysterious man. Like just the other week, I found out that he was in Bangkok on some, I don't even know if I'm allowed to speak about, in Bangkok, and you know he's worked for the government before. Really mysterious, but both of them martial artists throughout their time, and that's I think where I kind of picked it up from because they've both been fighters. They've both gone through a lot. And, you know, just seeing them practice that, you know, martial arts from a young age, you know, kind of just drove me, kind of pushed me towards it before, you know, I started watching The Ultimate Fighter or whatever. But you know, they've kind of, you know, were kind of my first inspiration really. And I'm thankful to them now because, you know, I've been able to get as far, you know, as I am. I would not have been able to get as far as I am now without them. So just, you know, people having a good, you know, group of people, friends, family, whatever, in the back of your ear, always there to motivate you. And you guys are tight. I can tell 100%. Always there to motivate you. It does wonders, really. I mean, if you look at the group of people, you know, who decide to do things by themselves, you know,
they don't succeed.
They don't succeed, and the road's tougher. You know, if you have that trust in you, and you know you trust someone so much that you trust them with your life, you know, that person's always going to be there for you. I mean, I have a lot of, you know, great friends. You know, I got guys, you know, who are fighters. I got guys who are entrepreneurs. You know, but there's been a few people who I've truly trust. I mean, I trust fully probably like 7 people in the world. And, that's not just because I've gone through so much and, I've noticed, how people really are, but, it's just having that group of people that you truly love and trust in the back of your head the entire time when you're going through something, just kind of pushes you, because to a certain point, you're not really doing it for yourself anymore. You're doing it for them. And, that's what matters to me. At the end of the day, friends, family, it's always better being with someone than being alone. And, I've been alone for a very long time. So, I've been able to kind of realize that. It was a point in my life where I just went silent. I mean, I didn't speak to anyone, friends, family. I just ghosted everyone. And, I just trained and I locked myself up. I wasn't even talking to parents, family. And, what I realized during that time is that initially you'll find peace, but afterwards, we're humans, we're meant to socialize, we're meant to engage, it's coded into our DNA. And, after, that period of time, I kind of just did realize that it's better being together with someone than alone. So, it helped me kind of focus on a lot of other things too. But, we're humans. We're only human. So, we have to socialize with people. You can't just lock yourself up in a room all day. And, you have to go out, you have to work. And, I recommend everyone, I talk to everyone, all different walks of life. There are a lot of guys, I even hate talking about, men, straight up, they tell you it's okay to be weak. It's okay to slack off, sit in a room, do nothing. And, that's just not true. We're created initially to be weapons, not just for fighting and violence, weapons that will do good in whatever respective field they're in. And, a lot of the population is getting lazy. And that's a huge issue here. I've been to a lot of countries, and you see the stark difference between the United States and Japan, or the United States and Korea, because people there, they're just so focused. They're just so focused on what they're doing, and they don't have this constant, swiping, this addiction to the screen that's telling them to be weak. That's telling them, putting stuff in their head. And, that's the difference between here and other places. So, I've had guys debate with me, say that it's okay to be weak. It's okay to not fight. And that's just not true. You have to always be fit at whatever you do. You have to get some form of physical exercise. Even, let's say, I would rather be chronically obese and exercise just once a day than be skinny and be stuck somewhere in a room, lock myself up in a room, and just rot away all day scrolling.
Yeah, so, I do wonder like what great person made this drink right here. I'm thinking about it. Do y'all want to taste this as a drink?
Yeah, we can taste this. My friends, go ahead. Yeah, my boys at Rain Energy. Amazing drink. I would rather take a Rain over a Monster any day. Great people behind this drink, great friends, and I honestly,
let's all try it together. I feel like we should try it.
I have not had this flavor
Guys,
before.
cheers.
Oh, yeah. Cheers.
All right.
This is good. Wait a minute.
That's such a good drink. Holy.
Oh my god.
What do you think of it, Daniel?
This is amazing. I'm a big citrus guy. I love orange. When I order water, I always ask for a slice of lemon in it. So this orange dreamsicle, this is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Could you talk about your partnership with how did you even get in contact with them and stuff?
Rain is just an amazing company. If you look at what is in here compared to what's in a Monster. I shouldn't actually be talking about that because Monster sponsors a lot of fighting organizations. But, it's a delicious drink. It's more healthy no energy drink isn't necessarily marketed as healthy, and I'm allowed to say that. But it's just better for you than other alternatives. I love it, and, it keeps me going throughout the day, I'm in between rounds, and you'll see Sneed or yourself pour like a whole bottle of Rain in my mouth. And it helps, it energizes, and they're a great company, great people, built by athletes, made for athletes, and any company like that, I stand by, and I'll promote their products even for free. So I'm typically promote products that I don't use on a day-to-day basis, or I don't like. One time, this Japanese, I think it was Japanese or Chinese skincare company reached out to me, and they had this cream that they wanted me to try that actually makes you darker. I'm not even listening to you guys. They put it on your face and it makes you darker. And they offer me, I can't even I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, but they offer me a large sum of money to do it. And I just, I have that honesty factor of me where if I don't use it on a daily basis or, I don't think it's good, I want to use it. So Rain I use on a daily basis. I use Sandoval products on a daily basis. Best martial arts company ever, in my opinion, really good. I use Venom products on a daily basis. And, all those companies, I mean, I've straight up told them, I'm promote for free because I genuinely use them every day. So, in order to kind of, a lot of these celebrities or like athletes nowadays, they'll put their face behind something. There are a lot of people saying it's right, but in order for me to do that, I have to genuinely know that the product's okay and that it actually has good benefits.
Like
So
a lot
be
of
able to stand behind it.
Now, if a lot of social media influencers, like, they start doing like you, what are you doing? Because most of the people, they be like, yo, they're giving us a lot of money, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Even they don't care, they don't use it, and it's fake, right?
Yeah.
But if they're like actually using it, they know like the side effects of it, and they know the benefits of it, actually sharing it to the public like you're doing,
Yeah.
that's actually good. Because you know the drink, you like the drink, it's actually good for us. But some people, they'll be just doing fake stuff, and that's just not good.
Please drink sponsor us, please. Please.
They're great people. Great people.
One question I have, just out of curiosity, and maybe for people watching
Yeah.
who are looking to get into sports and try to get sponsorships.
Yeah.
How did you go about getting in? How did
With
Rain
Rain,
reach out to you?
Sandoval,
Or like-
really, I was about 2 years ago on my own account. I just posted a picture and tagged them, and ever since then, I grew in closer relationship with them. Same thing with Sandoval. Just amazing people all throughout. These guys, it's not like other companies where it's like, just for profit. Sometimes that's good, but generally, they care about their athletes and their well-being, and that's why I've all these companies. I think I've actually, instead of them reaching out to me, all the ones I'm working with now, I've actually tagged them in a post or something. They've garnered interest, and that's how it's created. I've been, it's not just skincare companies, man. I've been reached out by a lot of companies. I was actually reached out.
The wildest one,
Oh my god, the worst one.
the worst one.
Worst one. I was reached out to. Oh my god, people are gonna kill me when I say this. I was reached out to by a strip club in Vegas.
No way.
I was 15 years old.
15.
15. I swear to God, it was a strip club in Vegas to go to Vegas and to just sit there and for them to take pictures, and they do that with a lot of fighters. And worst one, the strip club, or worst one, strip club, or it's not even Trojan. It's I'm probably not gonna be able to say. It's some other random condom brand that have reached out. That have reached
I
out.
was gonna ask, I was like, is there a condom brand that approach you? Bro, I didn't.
I was thinking like worst one gotta be like condoms.
I don't even. It was like tiger or some cat animal or something. And I just get these emails in my inbox every day, and I just look at them, and they honestly think that I'm gonna sit behind there and say, "Come visit, blah 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 strip club in Vegas," And I'm 15 years old sitting there. So, I mean, a lot of these companies, they're just looking for faces, and
Anything for publicity.
Anything for publicity. So they'll find anyone who has a little bit of followers or a little bit of attention, and then they'll exploit them. So that's. My stance on it is I don't do something unless I believe in it, and I obviously don't believe in a random strip club.
Thank you for letting us know that too, because
Yeah.
we gotta watch out for that and not just get in with any company.
Yeah, I agree with
Especially
that.
We're
even.
gonna start tagging the big companies.
All right. Well, listen. That's the next
Alright,
question.
so has there any been like people who have really made a difference in your life?
Man, oh
Either
my
you're a
God.
UFC fighter, they're like big athletes.
Yeah,
out
I know
there.
you told me like
A big list of people, man. I mean, I can go on and on, but besides, not just in my career, but besides my dad and my grandfather and stuff like that, I got a lot of good friends. I mean, shout out to them. Adrian, he's my cousin. He's been my day one. Guys like Safwan, Nas. I love all these people. Sneed. And, they're just great friends. They always push me to do better. But, in realm of martial arts, Marco Moreno, I want to give him, I love that guy. I love him so much. He's an amazing guy. I want to give him a great shout out. This was after I did some other martial arts. I was in 4th grade or 3rd grade. And I was struggling, and I went there, and that was actually the first time I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And him and Jay, they brought me up, and they when I was a kid, man, when I was a kid, man, they were just great people. And now actually I help out and I teach at their academy. Yeah, it's insane how I could go from that scared little 7-year-old to someone who actually comes in and helps teach the kids. So Marco Moreno, great people. Vladov, he's scariest man I've ever met in my entire life, but I've been training with him recently, and he's a great guy. Everyone at Kaizen MMA, especially Kaizen MMA Fairfax, I want to give a big shout out to Najim Ali, great Afghan guy, just like me. And
I think we have a story about Kaizen, don't we? We have a close friend actually. Can we?
Yeah,
you think we talk about it?
We have a close friend named Alex. He went to.
We're bleeping that out, by the way.
Yeah, we're gonna bleep it out. He went to one of those classes when he was about, I think he was like 10 years old, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And it was karate class. It wasn't MMA, but it's under the umbrella. And he got put in timeout for, I don't know, something dumb he did. I don't know. Probably makes sense.
Well, that was it Percival or Loudon when he went to the location? If it was,
we don't know. It was a while ago.
That was
when he was like a kid.
That was Vlad. Yep. I was actually there this morning training with him. That's Vlad 100%. But he's an amazing guy. He's the nicest. He's generally the nicest and most down to earth guy you'll ever meet. But imagine someone with my shins, right? Kicking this guy full force in the leg. He hasn't even flinched. He has 20 mixed martial artists, all heavyweights, line up. I saw this in Percival. He has them kick each of them 10 times. He has them kick him 10 times in each leg. 20 of them he hasn't even flinched. If you hit his core, like a guy like Eddie Hall, strongest man in the world, if he's not even going to flinch. He's told me some crazy stories, but Vlad and Najim Ali too. I mean, great Afghan guy. Najim, same thing, nicest guy you'll ever meet, but you cross him and he's a lion. And everyone at Kaizen MMA, Fairfax, Loudon, Percival, Falls Church, everywhere, they're just great people. And, I've trained, at all their facilities and, they're just all great guys and great people. So, I'm very blessed, to be able to go into a gym like that, where it's positive culture, people are there to learn, not there to kind of just like get beat up and sparring and just great people.
Well, you were telling me like that strong guy, right? Apparently, you told me that you can't get choked. Isn't that something you told me?
That is what
about that. Could we show the people that at all? Would you be down to try that?
Oh,
all right, Danny.
You got this. I got this. You got this.
Yeah,
I feel like this
I was talking to Noah, and he told me that he had his friend, bodybuilder friend, who literally tried to choke him out, and he couldn't literally. It doesn't work. So let's see what happens.
Give me a good hand lock first. Okay, look. Rear naked choke. You come up like this, and then you put the other hand like this. Okay, ready?
Ready?
Go.
Yo, stronger, bro. You're weak, bro. Come on.
I was just professionally, bro. He's like, are you gonna start? Are you gonna start?
Yo, Danny, come on.
All right. Can you guys stand more towards the middle, just so we don't fall on the equipment?
Okay. Let's see.
All right, rear naked choke. You come up like this.
Okay.
This shoulder right here, and then back here. Ready? Go.
Bro, how is this even possible? That's so. All right, stop. You were actually trying. Bro, really? Oh my god, that's actually so wild. Holy moly.
If you guys, I don't think we're gonna be able to get. If you guys want to put me in an arm bar too, my arm just doesn't break. I've snapped the shoulder, dislocated so many times. Guys have like bigger than you, man, like 6'5", African, 210 pounds. Have held me in this for like 2 minutes. I haven't done anything. I'm like, even like guys like Marco at the gym, they have to like tell the attack whenever I'm in it. So quite literally impossible. But
the thing Danny just did to you, bro, he did that to me, and once we were playing poker, I almost died, bro. I couldn't handle it for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro.
It was a while, like he was literally crying about it after it happened.
Oh, he almost killed me, bro.
What's the next question, bro?
Alright. So I know like you watch a lot of UFC, you got like a lot of like information about it, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Who will win if it's Prime Khabib or Islam?
Both in their prime.
God.
Who would win?
Oh my god. See, the thing is, I love both of them. I've been around both of them, and people are probably gonna hate me for saying this. I was there in Islam's last fight, 302, UFC 302, Islam versus Poirier. I sat in the VIP section around Aljo, everything like that. And his striking's really good. His striking's improved a lot, but Khabib, man, he was just, everyone tells me, don't ever include Khabib in your GOAT list. You know, Islam's a better lightweight than Khabib. Khabib was so dominant. Like, no one can ever take that away from him. There's literally a fight where he's holding someone's face with one hand and he's beating it in with the other. Khabib never got cut. I mean, Connor's, if McGregor sees this, he's probably going to come after me. But Khabib never got cut. Khabib, you know, he lost. You know, he was just more dominant. If they both fight in their prime, I'm taking Khabib. People might say Islam's striking's gone way better. His grappling's better. Khabib was more dominant. Khabib was a better wrestler than him. Khabib was more controlled than him. And we have to know that Islam has gotten knocked out cold before. He's gotten knocked out cold. He's gotten chinned. And, you know, I know that's when he was younger and, you know, not in his prime, but still, you know.
So you're taking Khabib then?
I'm taking Khabib over Islam.
And what do you think would happen if me and him fought?
You and
Do you
Khabib.
think? What do you think would happen? Because like I don't really know much about fighting, but like I feel like I could take him. I feel like I could take him. Yeah, y'all don't think so?
That does prompt another question though,
Yeah.
because you said you've been around these guys, right? Do you have any like interesting stories? Like, what are some like things about them, like stuff that they've done that you think the common person wouldn't expect out of this dude who literally like beats the shit out of people for
I'm
money?
coming for you, Khabib.
Alex Pereira, Chama to everyone. He's probably going to be watching this too. He takes Zins, which I didn't know until probably like 2 weeks ago. He straight up puts, I would never do nicotine or anything, but he straight up puts Zins in his mouth. Other guys like Strickland, I mean, we're all so normal. I mean, you can be honest, if you looked at me or like someone like Sean O'Malley at a grocery store, you don't think that this guy can take your life in less than 10 seconds. But that's just us. I mean, I want to give another shout. I mean, Mark Coleman, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. I talked to him like a few weeks ago. Amazing story, man. He was at his parents' house. He was asleep. It was massive fire broke out. Man, I get emotional telling the story a lot too, because I mean he's been there for me. He's an amazing guy. He's motivated me throughout my entire career. But fire breaks out. He saves his parents. His dog Hammer dies in the process in the fire, and he walks out of there completely. He walks out of there. He's in the hospital for days. And now he's back, and you know this guy's old. He was the first ever UFC heavyweight champion. He has 2 amazing daughters, and a great guy. I mean, he walked out of that fire, and you know, that's why I tell everyone, you like the average human being won't be able to walk out of a fire being burned to a crisp with his 2 parents. And he's just an amazing guy. Really, he's one of the best humans you'll ever meet. He's an amazing wrestler. They have like 20 eyewitnesses of this. Him and John Jones wrestled. And JBJ is probably going to come at me for this. Him and John Jones wrestled, and he beat John Jones. And, you know, John Jones at the end tried throwing a spinning elbow at him. But, you know, Mark Coleman, I think, is one of the best wrestlers from this country and one of the best wrestlers, you know, to ever grace the UFC. First ever UFC heavyweight champ. And brings me another heavyweight, Kevin Randleman. Man, I wish I knew him before he died, but man, he was a beast. He was genuinely one of the scariest fighters to ever touch the sport. You know, him and Mark, you know, they had a great friendship throughout the years. You know, I look at that as kind of a motivation, and you know, both those guys, you know, they mean a lot to me. So
maybe me and you could be like the next version of them.
Are we allowed to talk about the next, like the DC event?
The DC, yeah. So So, well, by the time this podcast is out, it's probably already going to pass. But yeah, I'm going out to it's my first, ever since it's my first PFL appearance for a very long time. I'm heading over to DC, and I'm going to go watch the playoffs there, the PFL playoffs. And yeah, there are a lot of great fighters are fighting, and I wish the best to all of them. Fights are probably already done by the time the podcast is released, but I wish the best to all of them. And you know, they're great people, and you know, Jake Paul is going to be there, and I hope he knows if he tries to press me, he's going to get his head kicked off. But
I like that.
but Jake Paul, Francis Ngannou, Cyborg, Chris Cyborg, and you know they're a great talent, and you know, and I'm just excited to go there for the first time in a while. It's coming to the Anthem in DC, and I'll usually say I hope to see everyone there, but this podcast is going to be released probably after. So yeah, let's just see, you know, the outcome. Going to be a lot of great fights. Going to be a lot of interesting fights, and I'm going to be there. And the weirdest fan encounter I've had is this. I didn't even know if it was a female or a male that took a blue Sharpie and asked me to sign her or his thing.
It was me.
Oh, really? Oh man.
It was me, guys. Yeah.
Oh man,
Didn't even
I
get
didn't
the whole
recognize you,
story
man.
yet.
I didn't recognize you.
Wait, can you show the people? The signature. The signature.
Oh no, I don't want to take the shirt off. You know.
Yeah, you know.
But-
Can't,
okay,
things
so
are-
it's there. I'll put it up on screen.
And I think you had a question about maybe someone who could be at the event also.
Oh yeah. I have a question. Mm-hmm. Do you?
He's got a question.
That was not true. Do you think you could take Bradley Martin in a fight, aka I'm 260?
Yeah,
I would kill
I'm
Bradley.
260 guy.
In a street fight, I'd kill Bradley Martin. I hope
Really?
he sees this. In a street fight, I would murder Bradley Martin. Bradley Martin has no combat experience whatsoever. I mean, you guys just saw. I mean, I've been choked up by guys who are stronger than him, and I haven't tapped at all. So what is he gonna
He's
do?
weak, guys.
So what is he gonna do? I mean, generally speaking, he's gonna try to take me to the ground. When he takes me to the ground, I have more than enough grappling experience to choke this guy out. And he's cocky. He thinks he can beat everyone. But if Bradley Martin's at that PFL event, this is gonna be released after. But I hope he comes up to me because I want to smack him down so bad. But I'm 6 foot. 165, 170, and I know I could kill him, and I know flyweights that could kill him. DJ Mighty Mouse, he weighs 125 pounds, and I know that he would.
Money Mouse.
Mighty Mouse, 125 pounds, 5'4", 5'3", 5'4". He would kill Bradley Martin in a fight. That guy is one of the greatest martial artists to ever live, one of the greatest UFC fighters to ever live, and for me, he's third on my GOAT list. But he's an amazing guy. But Bradley Martin, he's not anything. He's just big. And
But he's 260 though.
yeah, he's 260, man.
260,
When he comes up to me, he's probably going to be 259. So,
okay, so he won't have the powers then.
yeah, he won't have the 260 powers. Yeah.
So no, I have a question. You keep saying it's like everyone try to mess with me, I can kill him in less than 10 seconds. For people that are watching that aren't as knowledgeable in combat, can you explain what you would do to kill someone in less than?
We can.
less than 2 seconds?
I can show you. I can show you. We
Oh
can
yeah,
get out-
Josh actually volunteered.
No. I'm not going to do the technique. This is actually a pretty good idea to do this.
Yeah. Show the camera.
So look, he's gonna throw. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna grab his arm. I can lock it. I'm gonna take him down. I can put him in an arm bar, break his arm. I come down, break his face. There's a lot of there's a lot more aggressive ones. So
That wasn't aggressive.
that was the controlling part of it. That was the control. So you come here, throw the same straight punch. Go ahead. I'm gonna come here, and from here, if I go from the shoulder, I can control you. This is not any technique used in MMA. Some people say this is fake. From here, if I snap, I'm gonna break your elbow. Your bone's gonna come out of your arm. And then the second thing I do is here. Do the same thing. I come up. I'll gouge your eyes out first of all. I'll come up. If I hit this part of my elbow
That's crazy.
in your temple right here, your face will shatter. I come back up. I break your nose. And then I come down. I take you down. From here, right here, you can show the people. Right here's the meniscus. If I'm coming here, I will snap your thing like this. Your meniscus will tear. You'll need surgery. You can't walk for 6 months. So these are the ones I can talk about. The other techniques are like pressure techniques that I don't think I'm much allowed to talk about. But you have a pressure point right here. I'm not gonna push it hard, otherwise we will die. I know exactly what I do. No. You feel how the
I don't think Danny's gonna want to be in the same room with this guy ever again.
You can come here.
Look at him
Snap
shooting.
the Adam's apple.
Look at his face. Look at his
There's
face.
just a lot of different techniques you can use. Actually, does anyone out there? Let me use your phone.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is a great street fighting technique that I tell a lot of women to use actually when I train them. Right here on the base of your phone, all iPhones, they have kind of this ridge. The best thing to do with a male attacker is to come here, right on the bridge of the nose. It will cut open the nose and it will shatter them completely. And this is kind of what I tell all women who don't carry tasers, who don't carry pepper spray to do. Taking the phone right here on the bridge of the nose, they're done for. So that's one of them. And those are kind of the more simple techniques. If we go to more advanced techniques where I come up, I break your arm here, I crack your arm down here, I come in.
Okay. I think he's scared enough. I think he's scared enough, bro. We need him on the podcast. We
We can't. I can go on for hours about different techniques. But those
Yo, Danny, I know you're really scared. right now.
But
Like,
I am.
you think about crying, but I know you have more stuff to ask him.
Nah, so
Turn him from
nah,
Daniel the Great to Daniel the Late.
So those are typically the three that I would use in street fight situations. There are other situations where I will twist you up and I will kill you, but those are the three I use. So the first one I showed you where you take him on the ground, that's judo mixed with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and that's the controlling technique. You take him down, you can either base face in or you can put him into an arm bar, snap the arm. That's controlling. Or you can just mount, you can get him and mount. There's no need for submissions. That's what I typically teach, the kids. But the striking techniques, they're really something else. And, if I hit my, I'm obviously not gonna do this because it's an amazing studio, amazing people out here. But if I hit my elbow against this table 20 times, it's not going to crack and my elbow's not going to bleed and this table will probably break. I've had times where I've hit someone in the I can put up a picture here. I've hit someone in the face in the forehead with an elbow, and there's now this huge dent that they have on their forehead.
Oh, really?
From striking. Okay. So yeah. So
is that like a friend or like someone you're training with?
I was a friend. Well, it's okay. Hey,
Not friends anymore.
These Muay Thai guys, they're insane. Muay Thai guys are insane. And
but would these techniques work if they have if they're drinking like a rain? Like,
no, they wouldn't.
I don't think those.
I don't think these techniques work if they drink a rain. But
I don't think it would.
I don't think it would. But
so you're good. You're good, Danny. You're good.
guys,
I'm
be
good.
aware of Noah, bro. For all the upcoming UFC fighters, you're gonna fight him, bro.
Yeah,
So
because
be
I
aware,
know,
bro.
half of those, most of those techniques you can't even use in the UFC.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, you can't use any of those techniques. Actually, you can use the judo technique I taught on the first. The eye gouge, obviously, you can't. The meniscus tear, obviously, you can't. The elbows you can. They just actually it reinstated the down. I forgot the exact angle for it, but the 120. I think it's a 120-degree elbow down like this. So elbows are the most dangerous part of your body. I tell everyone this because the average person, they're not going to be able to jump up and knee someone in the face. So the elbows are the most dangerous part of your body. And I tell anyone, when they first coming in and they just want to learn striking and self-defense, I kind of base it around the use of the elbows instead of just boxing. But that's kind of the entire just thinking process behind it.
Okay, and talking about the eye gouge, I know something like that happened in the welterweight champions actually fight against who's he fighting against
Leon,
in that one fight?
his first fight.
It was Liam, right? And I also heard that this guy Bilal was kind of calling you out. What wasn't he? Or
Bilal Muhammad hates me for some reason.
the welterweight champion.
Welterweight champion of the world. I don't know why he would call me out on Twitter and do it in such a weird video. He also called me. Yeah,
Put the video. No, put the video.
We can put the video up right now.
Noah Jaghori can, finally make weight and come back down to 170. He could be next as well. So get off the couch, fat.
And he also called me fat for some reason. He told me get off the couch, fat. So
I saw that.
I just want Bilal to know that he knows where to find me if he wants to come to my house, and we can settle it right there. He knows where to find
we
me.
can settle on the podcast too.
We can settle on the podcast too. Come back to Blatant,
Like,
set it up in an octagon. But yeah, we can. And he knows where to find me. But Bilal is Muhammad. He's all talk. I like what he's done for Palestine. I don't dislike him as a person, but in general, he just does not like me. So and right now, I would say I'm an honest guy. Right now, I would say I'm not ready for 170 yet. I mean, right now I cut down about 20, 30 pounds and I compete at featherweight. So I'm not ready for 170 yet, but I know if I do end up fighting him, he's just we call it crotch sniffing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give him credit. In his last fight, his striking was good. He outstruck Leon by some miracle, but I know he's just going to wrestle me, and he's probably going to he's definitely going to out wrestle me. So let's give it another 5 years, and if he still has the belt back, but I don't think he's going to make it past that first title defense. Shavkat is going to rip that belt from his dead cold hands. There's no way he's going to.
Well, I mean, if he's not scared, then I feel like he should drop down to your weight. If he's
I don't think he can drop down that much weight, to be honest. Bilal Muhammad is a heavy 170, but yeah, I mean, guys like Khabib and Islam, mostly the Dagestanis, I mean, they cut down from like 200 to 155. They drop down 50 pounds for a fight, and usually, every weight cut it takes off anywhere from 2 to 4 years of your life. So, you're dropping that much weight. Your body's dehydrating and rehydrating. You're just actively losing years off your life every time you do that. So that's why, lower the weight, the better. I fight right now at 145 from 170. Not a big weight cut, but I know guys who fight way higher. So, fight your weight. No one's ever going to do it. But I hope that someday, weight cutting could be made more easy and more simple. So, we don't have to lose years off our life just because of it. So, yeah.
That's true. I never even thought about it like
So,
that.
Yeah.
I know this is a trending topic. So, what do you think about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? Is that dumb?
I just saw. I'm gonna see Jake later this week,
Press conference.
and I'm probably gonna spin his face. But I saw Mike. Mike is a
sister's in there
beast.
too.
Mike is a beast. Mike is a beast. He will always be a beast, no matter what age he is. Tyson 3 years ago or 2 years ago, he had a health emergency and he was being wheeled out the airport in a wheelchair. And for Jake, it's just a dishonorable fight. And if I was at Jake Paul's weight class, which is heavyweight, he's 205, I would have taken that fight any day of the week. And even in boxing, and he's called out people to PFL MMA before, so we'll see. But it's just dishonorable in my thought. They're taking away Tyson's legacy. Tyson, he isn't doing this for himself. He's doing it for his family because, you see Tyson going out, signing autographs and everything. He's doing it for his family so they can live after his death. So Jake,
That's great.
it's either gonna go one of two ways. Way number one is gonna be rigged to either Paul or Tyson. Way number two, Jake is gonna really hurt Mike. Or way number three, Mike is gonna get lucky and have just 2 minutes where his old self is coming and he's just gassing out and he's going to rip Jake apart. If Mike Tyson was in his prime, he would kill Jake within a matter of seconds. But he's 59 and, Jake Paul's next victim is probably going to come from a funeral home. So he's dishonorable, fighting older and older opponents, washed MMA fighters. And Mike Tyson is in no way washed, but Mike Tyson is oldest fighter Jake has fought, and I just generally don't see, if it's a fair fight, which no way in hell it is, I don't see Tyson being able to beat Jake. If this was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would agree with Tyson, but if it's not rigged, and Jake really just is making him seem more like a clown. Jake Paul, by the way, Albie sees this and he knows that he's on steroids. You can see the acne on his face. If you go to recent pictures of him, I think yesterday they did the Paul Tyson updated press conference, there's acne covered in his face. And no man should get that amount of acne unless they're on steroids. And no one has seen his back in months either. We probably know why. So Jake's on steroids. Jake's pushing. He's about
Especially since he's obviously worrying about what he's eating, right?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't make sense why he would have
he's
acne at all.
Exactly. And Tyson, he's pushing 60, and Paul's coming out dishonorable, man. Jake Paul's completely
the result
dishonorable.
doesn't matter because we know the legacy of Mike Tyson.
We know the legacy
That's
of
true.
Tyson,
That's true.
but all these kids nowadays, kids who are like 10 years old,
He
just coming
want
into the
publicity.
fight.
That's it.
Yeah.
Money, publicity, because bro, he know like how big he is. That's just it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Paul's size, if I was like 20 pounds heavier, I don't think I would have gone that fight yet. But fast forward 5 years from now, I would have taken a boxing match or an MMA match against him without any question at all. And Jake, he's obviously been on a lot of different steroid cycles. If you look at pictures of Paul from 2017 to now, you can get bigger, but that amount of weight and growth, it's just abnormal. You literally can't without steroids. He's been on several steroid cycles, and I've told everyone this: if they don't continue to test him up to regulation, he's going to end up really hurting Mike. And if he does something that will, I hate to say it, but either end Mike up in the grave or in the hospital, he's never going to be able to return back to boxing. You kill Mike Tyson because you were on a steroid cycle. So, I mean, he's a dishonorable man. I don't like him. I like his older brother Logan a little bit more, but he's a dishonorable guy. And when I see him at that PFL event, I'm gonna make sure he knows that. And he's not gonna swing. And if he does swing, I'm gonna take him down. But he's not a good guy, and I stand by this. But
Big Brother is now like very chill. I've seen his like videos.
Logan's really relaxed,
WWE,
great guy.
Like all the flipping stuff, all the prime stuff. Like
Yeah, the prime.
before, like
big.
he used to be not a good guy, but now I mean,
Yeah, but prime is not. It's not as good as the Rain
Rain,
Energy.
no,
Yeah,
Rain.
it's not.
Rain.
It's not as good as Rain Energy at all.
Sorry, Logan. Sorry,
So-
Jake.
And-
Sorry, KSI, but
And-
Rain is so much better.
so much better.
And let's put this into perspective. You're 60 right now. What was Jake Paul doing when he was 16? He was making
TikToks. He was making
dancing.
He was singing.
He was dancing, shaking his body on Vine. So let's just say that if 16-year-old me, right now me, which is 16, and Jake Paul at 16 got into a fight, that would be within 5 seconds. I think I'd be able to take him.
Well,
And
one
you know-
second.
Yeah.
Half a second.
You saw how scared Danny was.
Half
So-
a second. I mean, that's the thing I say with big guys. You know, I mean, if you're just muscular, you're a bodybuilder. I mean, what really do you have besides power? And the problem with a lot of those guys is they don't have the stamina to keep going. They gas out quickly. I'm gonna let you try to hit me. I'm gonna dodge everything you throw because I'm just gonna be more fast than you. You gas out after a minute. Second instinct is to take me down. I've been practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a very long time, and I will choke you on the ground. And let's say somehow I would never he would never be able to get to my back, but let's say somehow he did, and this guy's like 270 or something like that, huge. He wouldn't be able to choke me out. And
They don't have skills for that.
they don't have the skills. So I always tell people muscles do help in fights and MMA, but speed and skill and technique will always be strength, will always beat strength, and it will always be power. Power is something that can be easily fostered and created, but if you don't have the technique to go along with it, you're not going to get far. And a lot of these bodybuilders have called out like skinny MMA fighters, and I know 100% of the time that the MMA fighter will be able to take them because you're going to gas out within a minute. Your tank is not built for that. You're on steroids, obviously, if you're that big of a bodybuilder like Bradley Martin. And a lot of these mixed martial, I mean, you guys look at me. You know, I'm 16 years old, right? Imagine someone who has had my training for longer than me in 10 years. No one's going to be able to touch them, let alone choke them out. And that's really the only thing they have. So every mixed martial artist, every proper mixed martial artist, in my opinion, will easily beat a bodybuilder within seconds. And, you know, it's not even close, but I recommend all bodybuilders. I have friends who are bodybuilders to go and to train some martial art. So you're equipped. You know, people look at me and they're like, well, what if I hold a gun to your face? You know, I'm confident. I don't mean to say this, but Krav Maga, which is what my dad was taught and practices, it's the best. It's really the best for people who want to get out of situations with guns and knives. I recommend everyone in London to do it. UK's gone to shits, but you know, from close range, I always tell people if you're shooting, I never recommend this, but if you're shooting someone who's invaded your house, always shoot from mid range. If you shoot from too far, they're gonna going for an inverted zigzag, and they have a higher chance of living. And this is only for someone who's an experienced martial artist, and then if you put it to their head, you know, there's this small chance that I'm able to disarm it, come up, take the gun back, and you know, it's just really a matter of skill. But you know, I honestly would rather put a gun to my head, like right here on my head, person has the finger on the trigger, than be at mid range, because you can't zigzag, you can't do anything from that range. So yeah, that's you know, when it comes to, you know, the best martial art for being able to disarm your opponent, I would say Krav Maga, 100%. Krav Maga techniques, they aren't typically used in MMA or the UFC or any major MMA organization for that matter. But a lot of, you know, FBI, CIA, Army, they're all taught different variants and different forms of Krav Maga, just because it's simply meant for taking out your opponent in the quickest amount of time, being able to disarm them with a knife, gun, any kind of weapon. So that's what I would recommend to someone who's living in a dangerous area that's just trying to get some protection for themselves. So karate too, I mean, they have a lot of these places. We call them Nick dojos. And they're like these dojos where you have to pay for a black belt. You have to pay for, you know, stripes. The sensei comes out wearing this rainbow gi or something like that. It's not real martial arts. It's not real martial arts. And I'm my little cousin comes up to me the other day and he tells me, oh, I went to this karate dojo. And I'm talking to him about it. And I'm like, okay, what was on the walls? And then he said, he said the sensei was able to break through 5 cinder blocks with his bare hand, and it was his left hand immediately, right? And then I go and look at the footage he sent me, and you can obviously tell the cinder blocks are fake. There's no parents or anything. That's what we call mink dojos. My sensei, actually, Vladov, he did it for real. He broke through 2 or 3 cinder blocks in DC through his hand, and they're real cinder blocks. That's what we call mink dojos. People who are trying to make a quick profit from people who want to learn self-defense. It's not effective. please stop wasting your money on pointless karate classes from people like that. Learn a real martial art. And karate, I feel like when karate came to the United States, it's been so westernized that the basic teachings of it has completely gone. I know about just a handful of karate studios in this area who generally teach true karate and old school karate that aren't just trying to make a quick buck off their students. And it's been completely westernized. And, like, for example, I learned the guys know Taekwondo, obviously. I learned the original version of it, Tong Sudo, which kind of is just way more elaborate and elusive.
Wait, Ridhym, did you have like a story?
You know,
like,
we talk about karate, right? So it was like long time ago, like I was like 11, 12, I don't know about that, yeah. I was in India. At school, we just play cricket, like basketball, cricket, not karate, but I don't know how. One of our sports teacher came up and they were like, yo, we're having a karate competition in a few months. Anybody interested? And she's starting, and bro, she's not a karate teacher or anything. She's just like athletic teacher. She just be standing there, you guys play, do whatever you want. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna teach all of you guys karate. And bro, we learned karate and we went to this competition, like few of my other friends, and we went, and first round, I won. I was like 5'4" at that time. Yeah. And I was not well trained or anything, but the other kids, they came from a good school. They had like the whole training and everything. And I just went like,
and you won?
No, the first round, I won. But the second round, bro, the guy, he's like 6 foot. I'm like 5'4". The guy kicks me in my neck. I started crying. I was like, but our teacher told us, bro, you never give up. I still started fighting for it. And you know what? What happened? Because I started crying for it, I should be getting silver medal because I won the first round, didn't won the second round. I should be getting silver medal, but they gave me gold because I cried there. Only reason because I started crying.
Oh my God.
By any means necessary.
That's so wild.
I started crying, and bro, the thing is, my teacher, she didn't even see my fight. I went to her, I was like, yo, I beat the first guy. And she was like, yeah, I was in the restroom. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't beat this guy and you were in the restroom.
You did it good, but
having a proper martial arts teacher is above all. So I've been blessed. I've been able to be able to find people, but I mean, man, I don't know. It's honestly insane how you pulled off the first round, but
that was actually, we had like few months of training, and she still like teach us like how to kick, how to like throw the punch and stuff, how to like block it, how to block the kick and stuff.
Oh, so if you fight with him, you're good.
No, I'm not good.
If you want to test it out right now,
we can.
She shut up. Right, she like teaches the basics, like like how to kick, like she got the equipment and stuff. And but I was like so excited that day because I never thought about karate, and I was wearing this white belt. Bro, I was like, yo, maybe this is my future, bro. I'm wearing this white belt.
That's the thing. That's why I always tell people, for normal people, you want to learn at least one martial art. I always tell people this, practice it throughout your entire lives. For people who are trying to become a human weapon, you can't just learn boxing and expect to do well against a wrestler or a grappler because they're going to take you to the ground, they're going to choke you out. And that's why I always tell people, at least learn one form of striking and one form of wrestling or grappling. So I usually prescribe people kickboxing or Muay Thai for their striking, and then I tell people either just go basic Sambo, basic wrestling, or I always say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for grappling. And both of them, they'll help you. And as long as you have two of those martial arts, you can technically consider yourself an MMA fighter because you have striking and you have wrestling and grappling. So the mentality, though, is really important, I feel like, too.
Okay. It's all about the fire, Like, when I was there at karate, right? I started crying because this 6 foot guy started kicking me in my neck. Bro, other fight, because he went for the goal, right? Because he won round against me, so he went for the goal. This other guy, he's shorter than me. He's like 5'2". But his mentality, he got the fire in him. I know he's the guy.
Because you're a little kid.
No, I was a little kid. I was not that strong enough. I was like, not like passionate. But the other guy who was like fighting with the 6 foot guy, bro, he started crying because the 6 foot guy was like, he was super skinny though. But like he's tall and he can like punch him, he can kick him in the neck and stuff.
So do you have any words for that 6 foot guy? That be you.
No, but this guy, right? The other guy, even though he was crying while fighting, but he still beat the 6 foot guy, even though he was like 5'2" by himself. And bro, that just shows that like if you have fire in you, if the mentality, like you can do anything, bro. It's just the mindset.
That's
you got the
there
mindset.
He is.
Because I was not in the right mindset. I was just there to have fun. I was excited this for that, but I was
That's a big thing in MMA too. The mindset. There are two schools of thought, right? You can't be a fighter if you're afraid of getting hurt. There's two schools of thought. There are people who use their fear, which used to be me when I was younger, and that fear drives them, right? It drives them forward. George St. Pierre, in my opinion, over John Jones. John Jones used greatest martial artist of our time ever, and he used his fear. He openly talks about it, how he's scared going into the octagon, and he uses that fear to perform more. Second mindset, the second that cage door closes, which is what I adapted. You have an alternate persona. You have to be able to show that aggressiveness, but at the same time control it. The second that cage door closes, I'm not going there to finish the person. I'm going there to try to kill them. I'm going there to bring out every weapon in my arsenal and try to finish them or kill them. That's the entire perspective of it. And you have to be able to switch like this. And the problem with a lot of people are they're like, oh, I see red, I can beat you. But the problem is that's not really what it is, because that's not an alternate persona. John Jones, one of the greatest martial artists ever, he has bones. And you see him, and he's a nice guy. And there's stuff where he's beat his wife. He's hit a pregnant woman with his car, all because he was drinking. And when he goes in the octagon,
woke up Chris Breezy.
all because he was drinking. And when that octagon door closes, he switches to bones, right? And when he's drunk, he switches to that same alternate ego. And now that's what I've adapted, but I'm able to control it better because, I've, been able to kind of learn, just ways to control yourself, because I'm not the kind of guy who goes and starts fights. And you've known me for a decent amount of time. I'm an extremely calm person. Every
time.
It's always good to be calm and collected, because the person who's calm and has their head, you can see Khabib and McGregor. McGregor was spitting in his face. McGregor was drinking in his face, and Khabib just stood there. Nothing. And Khabib folded him.
Afghan fighters, right? They're like super constant.
Yep.
Like they don't drink, they don't party. And when they came to the interview and stuff,
It's like,
yeah, like
That's
they
wild.
got I feel like they got the mentality, like Conor. But he was drinking, he was going clubbing, he was doing everything.
Connor's downfall is sad. He used to be an amazing guy who was very motivational, and now we'll never know if he's going to fight again. He pulled out of a fight with Chandler over a broken pinky toe, but he's the Conor that I will always somewhat look up to is the one before he won his first belt. He straight up told us partying is weakness, drinking is weakness, and then whiskey came into his life. That whiskey company got started. And he just switched up.
It's just surroundings, bro. Like
that's why you don't like drinking, right? Like we talked about in the last.
Like nah. So the Afghan fighter, right? I've seen okay, the Conor, he's all about the money now. That's it. Like he'd be like, yo, I'm wearing this watch, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. But the Afghan fighters, I mean, they're getting the money, but they don't show that. Like they show what they are here for. I mean, what they're passionate about. They're here for fighting. They're gonna do that. They don't show off. That's the thing. But
Conor McGregor is interesting because especially nowadays, he doesn't market himself as a fighter. He markets himself as a businessman. That's literally like his whole persona.
And an actor too. Roadhouse was a great movie, but he doesn't market himself as a fighter anymore, and that's sad to me. That's something I could never do because I just genuinely don't think there's nothing else I can do besides be.
You just love it so much, right?
It's a big
Here's
part
the
of your
thing.
life.
Here's the thing, guys. Pain is the only emotion that's true. I've had people who've loved me. All lies. I've been sad. That's tears can be fake. Happiness can be fake. When you're hurt, when you're in pain, that's the only feeling that's true because you're feeling it. And I love that feeling. I chase that feeling, man. Even when I was, like a kid. I mean, I remember this is getting into a deep topic. I remember when my grandmother died. She died in front of me from cancer in 2020. And
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, my entire family was crying, whole bloodline. I went out to the forest behind our house, walked 10 minutes to the trail, and I just did not stop hitting the tree. Bare knuckle. Blood. I was 11 years old. Blood covering my fists and everything. And that, I would never wish that on anyone because that's generally a horrible way to process things. But you look at me now, man, I don't show emotion. And I think, in some ways that's one of the only negatives of the whole fight game. Because people who are really trained and people who go through it, they know, that showing emotion is weakness, becoming attached is weakness, and so that's the only one of the only negatives of the fight game that I would say weighs on you. But it's hard for me now to just show any emotion, and because that's kind of how I cope with things. And whenever something bad happens to me or something bad happens to someone I love, I don't go sit in a ball and cry. I don't sit there and just procrastinate. I go and I train because for me, I always have to be in some sort of fight. I always have to be in some sort of conflict or war, or else I'm going to drive myself crazy. there's never a point in my life where I'm not imagining in the back of my head that I'm in a conflict or that I'm currently in a conflict, whether it's been with my injury, whether it's been with an opponent, whether it's been in business. I can never not have a conflict in my life, because otherwise I'm just going to drive myself crazy. And, you know, that's kind of the thing that, you know, a lot of people have. Dustin Poirier, I mean, one of my favorite fighters ever. I saw him fight at 302 too. And he has a daughter at home, man. He's been going at it for 50 fights, and he says the same thing. He's going to drive himself crazy sitting at home, not fighting. Because, you know, once you get into that idea, especially at a young age. I mean, guys like Bilal Muhammad, you were even saying, he didn't start training until he was 23, 24. And, you know, I was gifted, you know, I started training at a young age, and, you know, kind of that mentality just grew on me that I just have to be fighting someone or something constantly. Otherwise I'm going to lose my mind. I'm just going to rot away. So that's another downside of the game that, you know, you have to be able to control. It's too late for me to control it now because, you know, it's already wired in my brain at a certain point. But, you know, it's always has to be something intense going on. Otherwise, I'm just going to fall apart.
That's going to keep you in the game, though. You know, it's always going to keep you in the game.
That's going to keep you in the game.
You're 16 right now, and like you're already like well trained. You're training for it. So, do you think is there like any competition like you are? Like, is there any like a lot of people at your age who's like actually trying? What's like, because you work at you training in the dojo, right? Is it like any like your age people who are like actually good?
Like trying to be like you, or trying to be like the next Conor McGregor or something
I would
like that.
say that I'm looked up to by a lot of people, and in some ways that's a good thing, but in some ways that's a bad thing, because I really don't want anyone going through the same things I have. But the people who I know who are my age, they're only one-sided. So let's say, you know, you have someone who calls himself, you know, an MMA fighter, and they fight MMA. They have only kind of worked on their boxing or their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And the thing with me is, I've trained a lot of different forms, you know, and I haven't trained a single form except for probably BJJ and Muay Thai for a long time, or Goju Ryu or Krav Maga, but those you can't really use in MMA. I've trained a lot of forms at the same time. So that's why people have different styles, right? You know, you have, you know, boxers, wrestlers. I'm what, you know, you call an all-rounder, because I've trained so many different forms, and, you know, that kind of helps. People who are my age, you know, they're probably just starting training, but I started training 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I'm way ahead of them in the form of MMA, but I would say there's a lot of good grapplers out there who are my age, a lot of good boxers out there who are my age, but in terms of true mixed martial artists at the core, I wouldn't say there's a lot. Besides people in this country, in this area, I wouldn't say there's a lot besides guys who are like Russian fighters.
This, like, country, do you think like because in this country, like, it's a lot of clubbing, drugs, all the stuff. Do you think like any other country would be better to, if you want to go in the UFC, boxing, any other country would be better to go and like practice there?
Tell everyone to train. I tell everyone this: Korea or Japan is where you will learn. No, sorry, Korea, Japan, or Thailand, especially Thailand, is where you will learn the best forms of striking ever. And if you want to go learn wrestling, there's only really some places such as Russia, Georgia, only a few places you can learn true Greco-Sambo wrestling. And then for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I recommend you either come here or you go to the heart of it in Brazil. I've been lucky that I've gone and trained under the Gracie family, and because they're top of the line in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I've been lucky to have all these opportunities. But for someone who really wants to be serious, you know, it's all about, you know, training several styles.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned earlier that with combat, you have to kind of control your emotions.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this. You know, you're being 16 and you're saying like you have a hard time showing your emotions. How have your relationships been?
Man, I've had a lot of bad, horrible relationships. I've had a lot of bad relationships, man. I've gotten burnt out a lot, and man, there just, you know, some things I think about, you know, really, you know, I mean, she can't. I just, in the back of my head, you know, I'm always kind of, this is what I tell all young men to do. I'm kind of always, you know, setting up boundaries, right? Like, you can't get too attached to the person. Like, I mean, I'm breaking up with you, but no. We just went out 2 days ago for Valentine's Day. I took you out for the weekend. And I mean, isn't your birthday in a week? No. No, because you're going to be shell shocked and you're going to honestly be depressed without that person. You have to, in the back of your head, set up boundaries for yourself. You have to be able to set up ticks for yourself that you just can't get too close. And when it happens, it will hurt. It's going to hurt. I've had a lot of bad heartbreaks, man, in my life. It's going to hurt. It's obviously going to hurt, but you're not going to be as shell shocked as you once were. And, you know, boy best friends are a big no-no.
No, they're not. I speak from experience.
Are a big no. I would never. I've said this before. I would never be with a girl who has a true boy best friend, because 85% of women who have boy best friends, they find them attractive, and around that same number, you know, they leave their boyfriends. So, you know, I would never date a girl with a boy best friend. And, you know, I look for, I'm really lucky. I had a great mentor, and my grandfather, my pops, and my uncle, who taught me these things early on. And, you know, you have to look for red flags, because once you like someone, you're just kind of focused on all the good that you just kind of filter out the bad. If you're planning on being someone for the rest of your life, you have to really just look at the track record, look at their history, look at their conversational, look at how they talk, you know, how they are, you know. Another big thing for me is if she doesn't believe in God, if she's an atheist, that's a big no-no. And, you know, I've been burnt out a lot, and it's really bad because the thing is, I've made the same mistakes over and over again in women. And, you know, honestly, you know, loving someone and caring for them, love isn't holding hands. Love isn't, you know, oh, I spent this amount of time with them. Oh, we did this and that. Love is missing them. Love is being sad when they don't text you back. Love is being sad when they don't call you. Love is being sad that they're not there anymore. Love is getting with them, getting back together with them. Love is all ups and downs, highs and lows. You know, I can do a whole separate podcast on the relationships, man. But it's gone from, you know, like people who, you know, have cheated on me, from, you know, girls who have, like, after, you know, we broke up and stuff like that, you know, they've completely just, you know, changed their tone, you know. Oh, you're a monster. Oh, you're created for violence. You know, you're a violent person. You're a bad person. When you truly gave yourself, this person, you know, your entire self and your all. And, you know, the thing is, man, nothing lasts forever. So, you know, the girl, you know, you're talking to right now, there's over 99% chance that she's not going to be there in a year or 2 years. And, you know, you have to, you know, prepare yourself for that mentally. I see a lot of young men nowadays who just fling themselves into relationships over and over again, and they keep getting hurt. That takes off little pieces of your soul. And, you know, you can feel it. That takes off small pieces of your soul slowly. And, you know,
what would you tell the people that say, hey, if you don't want your girl to have a boy best friend, you're just being toxic, or if you're saying you shouldn't be too attached to her, that's toxic masculinity, what would you say to those people?
It's really not toxic. A lot of girls will say that's toxic, but it's not toxic. It's not controlling. It's about respect. It comes down, at the end of the day, it's about respect. If you really love someone, it shouldn't even be a question that you get rid of that person from your life. Because for me, you know, man, you know, all these people, you know, they come and go like this, man. I've had besides family, I've had about 5 people who have stayed by my side my entire life. That's it, 5 people. People come and go, you know, relationships come and go. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I would rather be with someone that I know is not going to leave as easily as someone else. So that's why you always have to look at their track record as well. So, you know, a lot of girls, you know, will say like, oh, I have 10 bodies, but I love you and I want to stay with you. A lot of guys make this mistake, man. I see a lot of young men doing it today. I tell my friends, I tell some people I mentor this, and, you know, they don't listen because they're so in love with the fact that, oh, I found the person. I'm going to be with her for the rest of my life. She doesn't think of you that way. She doesn't think of you that way. She doesn't care about you like that. And, you know, one day you're going to wake up and she's not going to be there. I can't tell you the amount of times I've, you know, woken up and, you know, I've just seen they're not there anymore. And once you get attached, it's the worst thing ever. Once you get genuinely attached to that person, it's horrible because it's gonna eat away at you for the rest of your life. You know, you're just gonna be stuck sitting there. What if? That's why I just tell people now, even now, you know, after all I've gone through, I don't get too attached. I just stop myself. And people will say it's toxic. People will say it's not good, that you should let yourself go to that person. But people who have generally had as much experience in relationships, seeing relationships that I have, they'll understand that it's really not, because you're just trying to save yourself. You're trying to save whatever bit of your sanity you have left. And, you know,
the attachment should be from both sides.
Attachment should be from both
Just
sides.
from one side. I mean, she is living her life though, but you're fucked up.
Yeah,
she's living her life. She's going out to the club. She's going out with her friends. She's forgot about you, man. And you know, girls after a relationship, you know, they just like this.
Exactly.
I know a friend of mine who, man, I'm not gonna say his name because he offed himself. It's a bad term. He committed a year ago. I had a friend who he was madly in love with this girl, man. He was proposed to her, fiance, everything. He walks in one night from the gym, and he sees her, and he sees her with this random guy that she found at the club. He didn't even know she was gonna go out to the club. She leaves him. She gets with that guy, and he's in the gym 24/7. He's bawling his eyes out, hitting the heavy bag, bare knuckle. He's bleeding out, and he had this compass of her. It was a picture of her and him before she got into any of that stuff. That's why I tell people, if her friends are bad, they're directly going to influence her. No matter what she says, they're directly going to influence her. You have to look at her friends and the way they are. He has this picture of her before she met that friend group of him and her, and a compass under it. And for 3-4 years, he was just like that. And when they found his body, no phone, nothing on him, wasn't an overdose, and he just had that compass on him. And she didn't even show any remorse, man. And having a wake-up call like that for people that were close to him, it's just insane. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. And, you know, a lot of girls, they don't. They're way better after a relationship. Guys, they will stay attached to a girl for years. A guy can love a girl for an infinite amount of time because we're hardwired. We're like that. We're hardwired to be truly loyal because of the DNA that's in us of the men before us who fought in wars with their bare hands, and it's just different. And I tell people this, that overthinking will kill relationships, but if you're overthinking to a certain amount, if you believe in your instinct, that there is a high chance that overthinking is valid instead of being invalid. And man, I can't even tell you the amount of friends who've been broken. I think he'll allow me to talk about this. Jack, I love that guy, man. We've been best friends since 5th grade, and he moved back from Ohio about a year ago, and man, he was dating this girl. I'm not gonna name drop her, but this girl had a really bad toxic ex, and they spent the entire summer together. She came down from Ohio to Virginia. He went up from Virginia to Ohio. And, oh man, she came down, celebrated his birthday with him, slept in the same bed, everything. Their families met. And the week she went back, just a few days after she went back, man, it turned out that entire week when she went back, she'd been cheating on him with her toxic ex who essayed her. And he was broken, man. He was broken. Seeing someone, because, man, I truly love Jack. He's, like I said, one of the 5 people in my life who've always been there, who've always stuck with me. He's gotten me through a lot. I've gotten him through a lot. Seeing him like that, it kind of just broke me down. And, you know, I brought him back up from it. You know, I made sure he didn't sit around bed. I took him out every single day. We worked out. We went to Tyson's. We went to DC. We went on so many trips all around the world. And, you know, I got him out of it.
That's so great.
And, man, people just don't really care. You have to be with someone who has the same amount of feeling as you do, otherwise you're not going to get it. I will always say this, you know, I will always tell this to all young men around the world, all young men who are just entering relationships, that you have to make sure. This is why I tell everyone, would you want your daughter to be like her? Would you want your daughter to be like her? Plain and simple. Would you want your daughter to go out at 3 a.m. to the club with all of her friends? And then in terms of fairness, I ask them the same question. Would you want your daughter dating a man just like you? 90% of them say no. So it's not just, you know, looking towards her and seeing her faults. It's looking within and just, you know, working on yourself before you go out. You're the best version of yourself. And then, you know, you go out, you try, and, you know, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I truly believe that in some way we do decide our own destiny and our own fate. But I really feel that the person that we're meant to be with is written for us. So, you know, if it doesn't work out, it's not meant to work out. So I've had my fair share of bad relationships and seeing my friends go through them. And man, I've had a relationship where her entire family were pacifists and vegan. And I walk into that house, man, and she was like, "Oh, so what do you do for fun? What's your hobby?" You know what I said? I said pottery. I'm being so serious. I said pottery. And then they looked me up, and then they realized I was a mixed martial artist. This was a while ago. But, you know, honestly speaking, you know, you have to be with someone who values you. You can't just be with a girl who, you know, doesn't care about you. And, you know, it's good to, you know, be with her, you know, and it's good to love her. But at the same time, you have to realize that she can leave like this. She can leave like this. And if you truly think that you would be worse, you have to be able to tell yourself in your mind, okay, if she leaves, I'm fine with it. If you marry that girl, fine. But if she leaves, you have to be okay with it. And you have to tell, you know, the ticks. Is she nurturing? Is she affectionate? Does she get cold? You know, what is her history like? You know, how many people has she been with? You know, what are her friends like? And, you know, you have to kind of examine this. I've gone through so many relationships, even when I've known all this information. I mean, you know me, man. I mean, I'm way ahead of I mean, you could say I'm way ahead of my time from 16.
Definitely.
But I've gone through all these, man, and I failed to listen to my own instructions. And that is what made me mad the most. And, you know, this one relationship, I mean, you know, after we broke up, she called me a monster. She said all these horrible things. And, you know, you realize how different people are.
After the breakup,
After
right?
the breakup.
Exactly.
And I tell all young men out there today, you know, that you just have to be the best version of yourself. You can't love someone without truly caring for yourself and what you do. Go out there, start a business, start training, study, do whatever it is that you want to do, that you're passionate about. And eventually you will find someone who is going to stick with you.
He's gonna support you in that time, bro.
Yeah, who's going to support you throughout life.
Jump in the relationship. Take your time.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously many girls like that. And I heard a story about like you met like Karenikov at like a bar or something like that.
I heard, Danny, you got the OnlyFans subscription.
Okay.
Do you?
Oh, man.
2 years straight.
2 years straight?
Every month,
2 years straight, 2 years
That's
going.
great. That's great. So could you please tell the people how that interaction went out?
Jesus, man. This was what? I was
Hot
in
in person.
Let's be professional.
We speak professional. Yeah.
He wasn't looking at her face.
Let's be all right. I was sitting down. This was about a month ago when I was in LA. I was in Nobu with a friend, and I'm sitting down there, and she
Casually in Nobu, by the way.
casually in Nobu. I mean, okay.
16-year-old at Nobu.
Okay. All right. Casually in Nobu. But I'm sitting down, and then she taps me on the shoulder, and I see my boy's face. He just goes blank. I don't even mean like
Like you saw a ghost.
No. Like I saw, like he saw a ghost, bro. Like I'm so serious. This is like some cartoon shit. He saw a ghost, and I feel this cold hand touching me, and I turn around, and lo and behold, right in my face is Karenikov. And she's like, "Hey, do I know you from somewhere? Do I recognize? I think I recognize you." And I look at her and I just say, "No, you don't recognize me." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And her friends and her walk off, and he's screaming in my ear, bro. And I overcorrect myself, and I nearly hit one of the palm trees on Rodeo Drive in the M5 competition because of this idiot who's just screaming in my face, Karenikov, and I'm sitting there annoyed at this point. I don't like talking about that interaction. I've been actually come up to by a lot of different girls, and and they're all like random like models and OnlyFans girls, and I don't know it until my friends just pick up on it, and then they start going crazy. So I mean,
like what other model I've seen? Like you saw Sophia Rain. You have like some stuff with that at all? Can you talk about that?
She DM'd me on Snap, and I still have her Snap saved and everything. She DM'd me on Snap, and then she's like, "Hey, how old are you? I just want to know because we're filming some content." And I'm like,
so wild.
I'm 16, 15, and she's like, "Oh, what the? I thought you." She's like, "Serious? What the? What the? Spamming my phone. I'm getting blown up on the plane ride from LA to Maui. No, it was Seattle to Maui by Sophie Rain. And she's like, "I thought you were like 20." And she's like, "Oh, hell no." And then I just see the X next to her name on Snap.
Oh my
and I'm saying,
God.
who's, and I know who Sophie Rain is to that point. And then I asked my friend, because he's a weirdo. But
like our friend.
Yeah. And he straight up tells me, "What the hell?" He's freaking out, and now the entire group chat's freaking out. And I showed them the screenshots, and then they're like, "Do you know who she is?" No, obviously not, because I'm not on social media that much anymore. And I figured out who she was and how famous she is for what she does.
How she got your Snapchat?
I do wonder because look, my Snap's really private. My Snap score's pretty low. It's like I don't use Snap. It's like 120, and then after my old Insta account got banned, I just stopped really using socials. So yeah, I mean, I generally don't know, but I hope whoever gave it to her doesn't give it to another type of
Person like that.
person like that, adult actress.
Exactly.
But that's why I'm so careful with who I give out my number to. You know, you're one of 100 people who have my number, and that list of people are like people who are like actors, professional fighters. You're one of 100 people who have my number. I'm really careful who I go at. I use a Google Voice number for people who I just don't want to talk to. My personal number, you have it. You'll probably leak that or earn some money if you need to.
I'm not
But
gonna leak that.
Send you a text later.
If we ever start streaming the podcast live, then there could be a thing. But don't worry about it. It's not gonna happen. But do you want to talk about your story in Brazil? I heard you met like a lot of famous people in Brazil.
God.
And you got flown out, or did you get flown out, or how was that?
No, that was when they trained jiu-jitsu. I think it's best to just not give it any details, but basically just say that I went to Brazil for the first time, and I met a lot of interesting people. And I'm not gonna say where I was, but I did see Neymar. I did see Charles Oliveira.
That's great.
But it was amazing. Yeah, people, another shout out, Shoot Box in Brazil. Rio, amazing mixed martial arts gym, and guys like Ian Gary go there. I love you, Ian. I don't care how many people hate you. I love you, man. Of course, Charles too. But yeah, man. I mean, it was a great place. It taught me a lot. But yeah, that was Brazil. I don't think I can talk about it much more. But
I gotta ask, you're still young. You're 16, but you traveled so much. How is that possible?
Man, it kind of comes from the thing that, you know, sometimes it's for business, sometimes it's for training. I don't ever travel for pleasure. It's either for training or for business. And when I do, you know, I mean, let's be honest, really. I mean, who besides probably 98% of the world population is going to be able to take me in a fight? So if we're being honest, you know, there's not many people who can physically hurt me. And you know, I kind of developed enough to know, you know, what to do, not to do. You know, I've traveled my entire life, and you know, it's been great. But you know, obviously, you know, I've traveled alone a lot, but I'd rather travel with people than travel alone. Which is unless I'm going like to like Oregon or something, or hometown Bolinas, California. But yeah, Toronto is usually my hotspot where I go, and
Your family is very sportive, huh?
yeah, very supportive. Yeah, I have great.
I mean, at the age of 16, you're super mature, so
Yeah, I have
you
great.
achieve a lot of
feel
things, so they gotta be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like you're even maybe more mature than people we have here sitting down.
Yeah, people
Like
like that.
that does prompt another question. So since you do travel a lot, I'm sure you meet like a lot of interesting people. Have you had anybody like, whether like it was like a fan or just some random person try to like follow you?
I have a lot of crazy stalker stories. So one time, I think Slovakian lady, you probably heard of this, messaged me, and
I read about that.
Yeah, and I blocked her on Instagram. She kept sending me these crazy messages and indecent pictures of herself. And then I go to my company email. I don't know how this girl found my company email. This was before my brand was advertised or anything like that. And she's like, "You have to." I wasn't talking to anyone at the time, but she assumed that I did. "You have to kill your girlfriend so we can be together. Here's my address. I'm flying there right now. I'm flying into the United States." And I think it was just BS, because a lot of the messages I do get from like crazy stalkers, it's just BS, right? I mean, I'm gonna say this, you know, I mean, gay guys, they look at me like they want to have intercourse with me. Lesbians don't like me because lesbians.
You gotta calm down.
See,
You gotta calm down.
lesbians don't like me because I train with a lot of great lesbians. I train with lesbians make really, I don't know, I should not say this, but lesbians make really great grapplers. I train with a lot of nice lesbians, but most of the lesbian population does not like me for some reason. I don't know why. They look at me like the guy who hurt them or like some sort of pacifist, but gay guys just look at me like they want to have with me. So I've had a lot of different stalkers. This was the worst one because she flew from Slovakia. I think I was in Toronto at the time, and I was walking out of the gym, and you know, usually I'm really aware of myself. You know, I mean, I have this kind of thing which I've learned, which, you know, you go into someone, let's just say Tyson's, for example, or DC, you know, you look around yourself, you know, probably within attack range. And, you know, in the back of my head, I'm always thinking how much of a danger is this person. It's a 1 out of 5 typically. Men between the ages of 16 and 50, they're all base 3 out of 5 level of danger.
Wait, I was talking about that. Do you think you could go around rating all of us on like danger level?
Okay. All right. So first I'm going to go off with you, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're what? You're 6'1". You know, goatee, you know, light colors.
The goatee.
Looking
adds-
at you, you don't,
adds
have
like a point.
any, you don't have any scars. You don't have any tattoos. Typically, I would rate you about a 2 out of 5 just based on your outfit right now. you got the threes. You have the threes on, and I don't really think
That-
you can find that.
I feel like that makes it kind of dangerous though, because it's like you
Really,
run faster.
really, and
like,
you know you got
jump
light
like
colors
nice.
on. You know, you look nice, and you know, people have like different face shapes and different facial expressions. You can tell if you're a nice person or not. I rate you 2 out of 5. Your face, you have a nice face. No, I'm not I mean that. No homo though.
Thank
no
you,
Diddy,
thank
but you just look really nice. No Diddy, no Diddy. Man, I've known people who've gone to Diddy parties. I don't know. We're not gonna get into that today.
Okay.
That's for
What
another.
about
You, man. All right. Glasses, jeans, New Balances. Same thing as him, 2 out of 10. It's very rare that you meet someone like that who's dangerous. Let's see. You have slick back. You know,
6'2",
no, 6'2", slick back. You can also kind of tell, you know, I mean, it sounds racist, but it's not based on ethnicity, you know, how they are. So, I mean, you have Spanish, Hispanic, you know, you have white and then Indian. And, you know, typically South Asian men, kind of excluding Afghanistan because we're more towards the Middle East. There's kind of a rank chart. I mean, obviously Lebanese men, but they're all going to come at me after this. You know, they obviously, you know, are more timid and it's just in their DNA. They don't know how to really fight much. I'll give you the same ranking as him, 2 out of 5, just because I like you. Typically it would be 1 out of 5. And then you're Dan. See, he has a round face shape, which is better, so you can't really tell, you know, much with emotions. He's wearing light colors. You have Yeezys on. And, yeah. All right. Well, you know.
If you guys can't tell, Daniel's making like a really serious face right now.
Well, I mean, I would rate him the highest of. I'll give him a 2.5 out of 5. I rate him.
I'll take
That 0.5 makes a big difference.
No, bro, you know why he did that?
Why?
Because they scared you off. That's why. That's why I give you a 0.5.
I feel bad.
Yeah,
I feel bad. He was a 2.5. But whenever you're above 3 or 3.5 in the back, it's horrible. And I don't wish for anyone to live like this. But I'm in my head. I'm thinking of ways to kill you already. Like I'm thinking of, you know, like your eyes are far.
You're done. You're done.
You're not near 3. You're not near 3. Your eyes are farther apart. I can target your eyes. You know, you have a big nose. I can come up. I can break your nose. You know, your hands. You know, if your fingers are more thin, I can easily.
You're not
break
coming
your
back on the bro.
Actually, you know, the funny thing is, I was at the airport about a month ago. I was flying from IAD to Seattle because you can't fly directly into Maui, and they took away my TSA pre-check for some reason. That just said security reasons. So typically, that's what it means
always
is they deem
security
you as a security threat. And I just got my pre-check taken away, and I nearly missed my flight because of it. And usually it means because you're deemed as a security threat. And man, for some reason, you know, when you look at me, you know, you don't think like, oh, mixed martial arts can probably kill you within a few seconds. You know, you think,
Honestly, when I met you, I did not think.
yeah,
I
that's
did
what
not
I'm
think.
saying.
You
We
just
met
look like a regular dude.
Yeah, I just thought
He's
you
a
were
regular
regular.
dude. That's the thing, man. If you look at guys like Sean O'Malley, he's anorexic. If you look at guys
like a YouTuber.
he looks like a YouTuber, rainbow hair. You look at him, you don't want to think he's the world champion. He's the champion of the world, but man, you know, a lot of guys in the sport, they don't look intimidating. I'm gonna tell you that. You look at Khabib. He does look kind of intimidating. I'm not even gonna lie.
I mean, Conor McGregor.
If
he doesn't do this.
Khabib was wearing like sweatpants and like a hoodie or something, he would just look like a regular dude.
That's what I'm
though.
saying. Normal Russian, man. Normal Russion guy. So, you know, we don't really look threatening. That's why, you know, people, you know, when they think of MMA fighters, don't have any clue of MMA. They think we're bodybuilders with tats up, but you know, we're typically not too big, wide, and we just look like average people. So sometimes I get my mom hates my cauliflower ear. My niece hates it so much, so I get my cauliflower ear drained every 2 weeks or so. That best feeling in the world, by the way, getting your cauliflower ear drained. So I don't really accumulate cauliflower ear much. But when I did, I had a decent amount for like 2 months, man. People would look at me and they would think I'm a freak or something with some kind of ear. But there are a few guys who knew what was up. But, just we don't really look to be intimidating. We don't really try to be intimidating. And guys who do try to be intimidating, you know, you have the Edgar haircut. They start sagging their pants. They're wearing the spider hoodies, and they're not intimidating, man. And you know, they think they can fight. They really can't. I mean, most men, the way they think they can fight in their head, it's 4,000% less effective than the way they can actually fight. So, you know, I mean, I tell every guy, you know, in the world, train, go into a boxing gym, go into an MMA gym, go even karate and train. And, you know, this is what I tell everyone, you know, I love sport. I love I love soccer. I love basketball. I love American football, you know, and, you know, I've been to every kind of, you know, sporting event there is. Me personally, I would rather train to become a human weapon, walking down the room knowing that I can kill anyone with my bare hands, than know how to train a ball, than know how to run after a ball. That's just me personally. And, you know, even if you do decide, you know, to be a hooper or something like that, you know, I do recommend everyone to learn some form of self-defense and martial art. But at the same time, you don't want to give it to the wrong person, because you don't want some guy just walking
Anakin
around.
Skywalker type of thing.
Yeah, man, I've had revelations like that before, and you know, there's a time in my life where I just kind of slipped into like an aggressive I don't remember anything. It was like 2 months. I don't remember. I know I hurt a lot of people, but I don't remember anything from it. And you know, there's just really just controlling your aggression, and I have mine controlled, thank God, now. But there's still, like I said, John Jones. He gets drunk. He turns into bones.
Has there ever been a time where you're holding someone back, like you're being physical and you're stronger than what you meant to be, and you accidentally end up hurting the person?
There is a lot of times. There are a lot of times too. I don't think we can put this picture up because I don't know if it's been fixed or not. There've been a lot of times too, like, you know how like some people, like, you know, when they get annoyed or embarrasses them, and they come and they're against the wall like this, and then they put their head down. I did that, but my elbow hit the wall so hard, and it caused a huge hole in the gym wall. But there's been a lot of times where that's happened. There's been a lot of times, you know, I usually like to control the situation, which is why I usually tend to grapple with someone if it's 1v1 in a street fight. Again, I don't recommend using grappling or wrestling when you know that they could have a weapon or there's more than one person. But there's been times where I've been pressed, and I haven't really said anything about it. The second you lay your hands on me, you start a war. That's my thing. The second you put your hands on me, they can talk in my face all they want. I just sit there and smile. You know, I've gone against guys who just all talk. You know, they'll start saying like, "Oh man, I'm gonna kill you." You know, you don't know how to fight. And I'm just sitting there smiling. And you know, even the other day, I mean, there's this group of people, you know, they love shit talking about me. They're from my old school, Stonebridge, and they just love talking, but they can't get me out of their mouths. And it's my boy's birthday, and you know, it's an open crib, so everyone's coming. So you know, I bring Adrian and I bring Nas with me, and I sit there in front of the dude, the little Indian kid, vapes his brains out every day. And I just,
Ridhym, bro. What are we doing there? Ridhym, what are we doing there?
Sorry. He wasn't Indian. He was Singaporean or something like that. And their entire group. And I sit in front of this guy. And I look at this guy who was shit talking me, and he tried to get other people on me. And I sit there in front of our living room of like 20 people who at one point who always shit talk about me. Who are like, oh, I can be this kind of. I'll sit there and I look, and I straight up tell this dude, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna do something? And then he looks away and he walks to the other room. So, you know, all these guys, you know, they just decide to talk. They run their mouths. You know, you go to parties. I rarely go to parties. But, you go somewhere and, you know, 80 to 78% of men aren't really going to press you, especially here. And
a lot of people just try to act.
Everyone tries to act tough, and then it's time to fight, and then they run, or they bring their entire bloodline.
A lot of people say that there are dangerous parts of the DMV. Like, especially Baltimore is a place that's commonly talked about. I think you had mentioned at some point with Miguel, was there a story of someone trying to like hurt you or attack you in Baltimore?
I have been robbed obviously attempted robbery in West Baltimore before. And funny part is, me and the guy actually became friends at Sneed, and I kicked this, but you know, I wasn't even trying. And now I train with him all the time, but you know, he's a great guy. His brother, I shouldn't talk about this, but his family is like deep within the roots of Baltimore, and I would say places to avoid in DMV, obviously Baltimore. Upper Maryland area, not as safe as it used to be, and Woodbridge, obviously. One place that's gone pretty bad now is Sterling and Fairfax City, but besides that, I mean, you walk around here, it's really safe.
No,
But
it really
guys
is.
from the DMV, they're always wearing the shiesties, walking around with their geek bars.
I know.
At the Galleria.
Didn't
Got
you
a
say you
couple
were
friends
gonna
like
buy
that.
like a shiesty mask?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it.
Man, don't do
Do you
this.
think
I got
that would
so many
increase his
ops out
danger
here.
rating to a
That
3?
would not increase it. People, the
so many
guys who
ops.
wear shiesties. Here's the thing: guys who wear shiesties, they're trying to look intimidating. Unless you're robbing someone, 90% of the time, you're not really that much more intimidating. Guys in the DMV, they sag their pants, wear their shiesties, have their geek bars right here, and
couple
Wait, I'm not
friends.
saying this. Don't come after me, please.
all right, yeah, I'm saying, yeah, don't come after him.
come after me.
Come after me.
Address in the description.
Don't go after him.
And what way?
He's joking.
But honestly,
I'm not.
yeah. But honestly, there's a few good guys here, and the guys who try to act tough, they're not all that. They're not all that at all. I know guys who have murdered people, who've straight up killed hundreds, not hundreds, but obviously probably up into the 50s and the 60s, and you walk around them and they're the nicest people on earth. And then I've gone against guys or been near guys who wear shiesty, sag their pants with their belts, and they act like they're indestructible. So, it's just really mentality. But, you never just want to, look. For me, I never want to really look that intimidating. I wear mono clothes. I don't invite people to come and pick fights with me. But, if you pick a fight, with anyone who, knows how to fight, they're obviously going to finish it.
Also, I've had friends who they act like they look tough, and I've been told that it's actually like a kind of like a bad thing to do, because then people don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
Like you act
taxing,
a certain way. You're just like, you don't want to be with that person. And so that would make them like not have any friends, or just not have good people to talk to, and not
No
have
one's
a good
ego
like-
should be large enough for the point where you're pushing people who want to be close to you away just because they want to act tough. Everyone's going to die at some point in their lives. I can walk out here, be sniped in the head right now, or I can go out in 50 years. Actually, I'm probably going to die way earlier than most people because of the brain damage. And, guys with CT, I probably already have it. We're already marked for dementia at a certain point. So, I always tell people, I'd rather have my death be quick and easy instead of just having it be prolonged. Because, I've seen people who've gone through long deaths and it's torture. So, I know that if there's any chance I'm gonna die early, it's gonna be within the next few years, which is sad. Most people say, but I'm a realistic person, and if I'm good past this next few years, I'm gonna be around for another 20, 30 years after that. And guys, and no one that you can't cheat death. You can't cheat death, and it's gonna come for you one way or another. So I'd rather die knowing I made the most of my life, and knowing I didn't walk around being like, oh, I'm indestructible. Come at me. I'm this tough mixed martial artist. Start sagging my pants. Maybe I'll get a shiesty too, rainbow colored shiesty, pink shiesty. But
because if you weren't like this nice guy, I probably would have never talked to you. Because they try to act tough then.
no one's
and
indestructible.
They don't want to talk to anyone.
No
Yeah.
human being is bulletproof.
Do you have any stories from high school? Anything?
I barely went there, if I'm being honest with you. Man. I barely went there, and then I transferred over. He knows this, to high school that offers the dual enrollment program, just so I can graduate early. I graduated at the age of 15. It wasn't because I'm necessarily smart or anything, but it's just really because I just want to get
priorities
done.
and
Different
stuff.
priorities, man. I want to get done with it. I'm not trying to go to high school, so I took all those online classes. I got finished. Someone like me, you have businesses to run, you have people to take care of, you have employees, you have staff, you have sponsorships, you have training, fight deals.
Yeah.
I have a very full life, and I'm happy about it because I like staying busy. But
That's really great. So what do you think you have planned in the future?
That's what I was gonna ask. I hope it works for you.
Yeah.
But what if UFC doesn't work for you? And anything you have plans for? Anything you're thinking about in college?
I think right now I'm going after. Right now, I promised my grandma before she died I'll get a degree. So, going after in computer science, and it's just a smart path because even if I get re-injured and I can't fight anymore, I have a good career. I already have enough. I think capital and enough mind to be able to make a good living. A really good living, actually, without a degree. But I promised my grandmother that, so I'm gonna go after it. And honestly, man, the only case where I don't see it not working is if I get re-injured on this leg, because I'm relentless. I'm gonna keep fighting. I haven't lost ever, And, it's just because I'm just so scared of losing. I'm so scared of failure. And that fear is going to drive you farther than any other kind of motivation will. So, man, at the end of the day, you just got to keep living. You just got to keep pushing. And, I've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot, man. And, seeing everyone around me, going through their own personal battles, just you kind of take a little bit from each person and implement it into your everyday life. So, I tell people, straight up, you only have one life, man. You only have one life. Once you're out of this world, you're dead. You're dead, and you can never relive this life that you've been given. So don't waste it away scrolling away for hours on end. Don't waste it away trying to act tough. Don't waste it away, especially on. I always tell people this: don't eat with people at the fancy restaurant if you wouldn't start with them. So don't be with people that wouldn't be with you at your lowest point. Don't give people attention that that they're only there because you are who you are. Let's say at one point, I saw this a lot. Say at one point, this is when I had my old Instagram account. When I was probably at my peak, 1.2 million followers. I sponsorships from everywhere, and just probably at my peak. And I had so many friends leave me after that ACL injury, and after what happened, and after I fell into my depression. And when I came back up, all randomly hit me up, and I blocked all those people. It's important to block negative people from your life because I feel like eventually their negativity will weigh you down. So, I don't even think about it anymore, man. I just block someone, and it's just important really because you should never be at a point in your life where you want to please people. I've met so many people who have come to me, who've cried to me, not just men too, man, girls who are people pleasers, and they've trusted me. I don't know why I'm so trustable. I don't know why.
You're a nice guy.
Maybe I have a trustable face or something. But I've had girls who've come up to me and I'm a people pleaser so much that I just can't say no to anything a guy asks. And she's bawling, and these people, they just take advantage of her. And I tell her straight up, you have to get out of that mindset. At the end of the day, I would only cater to people who are there for me at my lowest point. But besides that, I'm just working on myself. And that legacy that you build within yourself, it's never going to leave you. Friends will leave you. Girls will leave you. Boyfriends and girlfriends will leave you. Even family. I've had so much family, man. I don't talk to a lot of my cousins anymore. I hope you guys know that. I grew up with these people, and seeing the way they turned on me. I tell people this: blood is thicker than water, but sometimes mud is thicker than blood.
I love the quote.
I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it though?
Yeah. Anger, people will always hold a grudge. And, that's why, I don't hold grudges, man. People think, oh, you're this aggressive, violent monster who goes in and tries to kill people in the cage. No, I don't hold grudges. You say something bad about me? Okay, I don't care. You want to come hurt me? Okay, be my guest.
Except for Jake Paul, though.
Except for Jake Paul. He can go himself. But Jake Paul, even below, man, I don't even hold a grudge against him. And, people, you just have to really move on with in life. If someone hurts you, it's never revenge. It's never about revenge. So at the end of the day, for me, really, it's all about, just becoming a better version of yourself. They look at me and they say, you can't do it. You can't be this person. You can't make this amount of money in a year. You can't be an MMA fighter. You're going to get injured all over again. You will never be this. You're a fraud. And I look at them, and I don't even say anything. And then a year passes by, 2 years passes by, and they see the place that I'm at. People will always get uncomfortable when you're doing better than them. I tell everyone this. I tell everyone, if you have done something extraordinary, if you have made a certain amount of money, even if you win the lottery, if you get signed on to a fight promotion, if you get signed on to a team, get drafted, whatever, don't tell people that don't tell anyone unless you know that person won't be jealous. It won't be jealous of you. They'll come after you. They'll start getting uncomfortable around you. They'll always be trying to one up you. Everyone has had that person in their life where you're like, oh my god, man, I just made 20 grand in a month from this business, and he's like, oh, okay, that really doesn't matter. Did you make 30 grand? Or it's really not that big of a deal. You're always gonna have someone out there who's jealous of you. And our goal isn't to make that person more jealous. Our goal is to outwork yourself so much that person continues to be the way they are, and they're miserable because their own life is not what they want. To those people, I tell them, you have to work, man. You have to work. You have to work towards your dream. You can't be envious of others. I see people, men and women, all day, and they scroll on social media. They're envious of other people's lives. I've had people who message me like, "Oh, you're so lucky. You know, you're so much luck. You know, I can't believe you did this, or you're a pro MMA fighter, or you're a business owner." And I'm like, it's not luck. You don't know the nights where I've sat there covered in tears and blood, still hitting the bag. You don't know the nights where I don't sleep. You guys know this. I don't sleep. I sleep probably around 3 hours a day. This has been the way for the past 4 years, even when I was a kid, man. People say you need REM sleep or something like that. I don't sleep. I'm stuck, up on night. I'm not an overthinker. Sometimes, I just think about things in the back of my head, or sometimes I just train. I mean, you could probably, see me if you drive around my neighborhood in the middle of the night. You can probably see me going on a run at 4:30 a.m. just randomly 6-mile run, because I'm just so just on edge all the time. And I tell people this. You have to work. You can't just look at someone else and say, "Oh, well, you're just so lucky." It's gonna come to me.
People don't see the bad nights.
They don't
the
see
hard
it.
work
It looks the
before you
hard work. It's the everyone says this, but it's the blood, it's the sweat, and the tears that will get you through. They don't see how it's not luck. It's not luck. It's not luck. It's precision. It's practice. It's fight. Yeah. They don't
I know, Josh. You have like a quote that you've been like kind of drilling into all of our heads.
I recently changed my wallpaper, and I keep saying this to everyone on the podcast.
We'll literally be just hanging out. We were at Top Golf, and this guy just says,
because it's something that I recently tried to adapt into my own lifestyle that I feel like is a really good quote that I believe in. What are they doing that you aren't? What's something that you're not doing right now that the other people are doing, like other competition that you don't see them doing? Because like people are always, you see all these. For me, I'm a musician. I'm trying to be a producer, rapper, singer, songwriter. There are so many people. One of the people I look up to, Tyler the Creator, you don't see him posting every time he's on a private jet, anytime he's on like vacation or whatever.
You don't see me posting either, man. You guys have seen through my Instagram. This is my new Instagram. I didn't have Instagram for like almost a year, man. I don't post at all. People, they look at, you're 100% right, man. I always say this: talent always beats hard work all the time. You see guys, they're good, they're good, they have good head swivels, you have decent strong kicks, but you're not working out. What are you doing to improve on that? In MMA, it's kind of always having the white belt mentality. You're always open to learning new styles. You're always open to learning new things. And I tell people to implement that.
There's always more progress to be made.
There's always more progress. No one in history will ever know everything about everything. It's impossible. But if you can die knowing that you got the closest that you could possibly can to it, that's really what my thing is about. Constant knowledge, not just about mixed martial arts, but about everything. If you ask me about a plethora of different subjects, I'll be able to give you right answers, because I've worked all my life, and people think that MMA is an easy sport, and it's just really just going in there and trying to fight this person. It's not. I study everyone. I study all my opponents' footage, man. I study, their favorite combinations, which way their head is, when they clinch, their favorite kick, their ticks. I mean, some guys, they throw a low kick, they drop their hands down for a second. I plan on him like I'm planning to go to war, because I am. And, I have a game plan mapped out in my head. So when I see him drop his hand, I see that tick, I'm going to come out and I'm going to knock his lights out, or I'm going to take him to the ground, I'm going to choke him out. It's really all about precision. And, you can't be in this sport. Some guys are just all about blood and war, but those guys aren't as successful as guys who are IQ fighters. IQ fighters, John Jones, George St. Pierre, Demetrius Johnson, and Khabib was an IQ fighter too. That's how he beat Conor. He saw Conor's tick. Conor, in that clip, it's infamous, when he knocked down Conor, that infamous, I think it was a right hand he threw. Conor dropped his left hand and he just shot at him, and that knocked Conor to the ground. Khabib's boxing wasn't even that good then. And, it's just really studying the person, and that doesn't even just go for fighting. That goes for everything. Studying what you're up against, what competition you're up against, whether it's in business, whether it's in music, whether it's in school, basketball, whether it's in life. You always have to be working. Hard work, it's way more valuable. Yeah, you have to have discipline. It doesn't come naturally. I tell people this: if you work hard for it, if you spend every waking second of your life obsessing over it, it will come. It will come really easily.
I agree. If you want it bad enough, you're gonna work it, and if you work it as hard as you want it, you're gonna get it.
Because bro, people get distracted so easily these days. Like because of social media, everything, they get distracted. But bro, you gotta keep focused, bro. You gotta keep hustling. And do what you're best at.
I think that's a great place to leave the episode off on. Is there anything else that you want to say to the audience?
Or promote
Anybody
anything?
from your fans?
Man,
Messages.
well,
Because it's been a while since they've seen you, right?
it's been a very
Yeah,
long
it's
time,
been
and
a
this is the
minute.
first. This is. I mean, I'm telling them right now. I mean, I would never. I mean, I've been invited on different shows, different podcasts. You know, I mean, I would never be open to doing it. But you know, I mean, this guy, you guys got a great host over here, man. You guys got one of the most
Appreciate
honest
it.
and hardworking people I've ever met in my life. And you know, I would have said no if it was anyone else. The second that he sent me the message, man, can you be the next guest on our podcast? I said, hell yes, man.
Our first guest.
Our first guest, actually. Our
Well,
first guest.
a lot of people don't see about Miguel. He'll text you at like midnight, 1 a.m. Just like it could be either some random shit or he's just straight up motivating you, trying to get you ready for the next
He's
day.
a great guy, man. He's a
'Cause,
great
like,
guy, man. Ever since I met him, ever since I shook his hand was in that physics class that we were together.
Physics class.
And yeah, I knew that since then. So I mean, I'm gonna leave it off on this. You know, I mean, I've gone through a lot in my life, you know, and I hope that even if I die tomorrow, I hope that some form of my legacy and some form of what I've taught to the younger generation and some form of what I taught, it stays with people, you know, and, you know, just don't ever give up on what you have, you know, in the tank. So, you know, that's a great place to end off the podcast.
That is. Please, Rain. Sponsor this podcast.
Big
We
shout out.
love the drink.
Big shout out to Rain. And big
We
shout
love
out
your
to
sponsored athlete over here.
So good.
And
Big
yeah,
shout out
that's
to- yeah, that's it.
That's a wrap, right?
That's a
All
wrap,
right.
guys.
This has been the
Blatant
Blatant Podcast.